So it says we're live. So chapter 1104, OPU podcast
Mm,
episode 12. We're here with a
mm.
very special guest, and we're a bit short staffed today, but some people might be coming in late. But it's gonna be a fun episode, man. We have a lot to talk about. 3 weeks inside a chapter, so man, I was waiting for this chapter all week,
Mhm.
and it just popped up randomly, not really too much notice, but once we got it, it was some crazy discussions, and we're gonna have a fun time today. So let's introduce everybody. Let's wait for chat to come in here. Cryptic Beats in the chat. What's going on, bro? um we'll start with our very special guest, Kev D, a friend, a true One Piece creator. He does a lot of analysis content, occasional theories, and he's been blowing up with Adventure Time as well. So what's going
I,
on, bro? Introduce yourself.
I'm ch- I'm having an absolutely fantastic week. The One Piece chapter, as we're going to talk about, was absolutely incredible. I also got back from vacation not that long ago, so it's nice to be back on the grind set.
Ooh.
There was also a JoJo chapter yesterday as well that was also awesome. So
Oh, I saw you screaming for that.
I'm absolutely thriving this week. So I'm just excited to be here, excited to talk about One Piece once again after the long drought. I feel like we were fiending for this new chapter. So super excited to talk.
That's amazing, man. Ever since Anime NYC, I knew I had to get Kev back on. I mean, you've been on here once before, so it was just about time, man. So, Prince, how's it going, bro?
Yo, what's good, everybody? Just also pretty excited because man, this chapter was heat. I really loved it, even if it was like very short lived. It was a quick moment we had between Saturn and Kuma. It was still so damn worth it, especially that we'll get into it, but that 2 panel spread. Oh my god, it was I think 2 page spread, whatever it's called, like the whole spread of the entire punch, amazing. So. Whew, can't wait to get into it. It was great. Amazing chapter.
It's an amazing chapter. That's for real, man. So I see a lot of people in the chat coming in. Dolo, I see Leanne. What's going on? We see Fire Angel Lufo. We see Kevin in the chat as well. So all right. So Zane, are you there?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep. What's going on,
Yes,
man?
sir. What's up, man? How y'all doing?
Doing great, man. Amazing chapter.
Dude, beautiful chapter, not just amazing,
Mm.
in my opinion. I feel like that punch was probably one of the most satisfying things I've seen in the story, bro.
It definitely was. I'll say it was maybe the most satisfying, rewarding punch I've ever seen.
There's there's this one. Do you know the website Tier Maker? It's like a pretty popular website with make a tier list and stuff.
Yeah.
There's one thing you look up One Piece and like there's a bunch of categories for it, right? And there's one called most transcendental panels in One Piece. That that page is going straight onto that list. I just know it. Like after this chapter. Oh my god.
And I will say, we talked about it last week, and we had a bit of a debate, and we were saying like, is the punch gonna land? And I just want to say, I've been saying for the last 3 weeks that it's gonna land.
Saying this, yeah, I've been saying, man. And I remember Krow, who's also not here.
Yeah,
Shout
Crow and
out to
Deck, Crow and
Krow.
Deck.
He was supposed to be here so I could rant about it like landing, but he coincidentally said that it's not landing, and look where he is now. Nowhere to be found. But nah, yeah, I definitely knew that this shit was gonna land. It was gonna hit directly, and man, it created a huge just moment for Kuma, for the whole story, like
Yeah.
summation of 20 plus years of feelings that Kuma had pent up in his damn heart, and just came like straight onto the page, man, which is crazy. Pause, but like I really I really do think that it's crazy that it actually did land. Like, say you could like say that, oh my god, it's definitely gonna land, but at the exact same time, the chapter really does help focus on the fact that it's a Gorosei that Kuma punched. I mean, we go back to Sabayoti with Luffy and see that he punched a celestial dragon, which is crazy outright according to the One Piece world, but it was still just a regular celestial dragon. What Kuma punched, or who Kuma punched, is literally the top 5 most important people according to the world government and the rest of the world just ever. They are the most like important people in the world, and he punched one of those 5 people, which is insane. So Kuma really got that dog in him. So it just shows throughout the chapter. It's really a monumental moment for One Piece.
Yeah,
That
and I
boy
just
JJ in here.
yeah, so I see JJ
He
in the
is.
chat. He's coming in late. Hopefully he'll be able to make it. Krow has
Who coming in late? Who coming in
you're
late?
here. You're in the chat. I saw you in the
Here,
chat. I
here.
didn't know
What's
you was
going
in the stream. What's going on, bro?
Yeah, man. I had to let my guy Saturn D Prince, go over there get his cooking in, you know what I'm saying? But I was definitely, as soon as I jumped in, I just ain't want to be rude, but what's going on, family? Y'all rating the chapter? What y'all doing?
Yeah, I was just about to say in chat that we can all rate the chapter. But
Yeah, make sure you like the stream. Make sure you get that. We got 20 people in here. Let's get to 20 likes, and yeah, we'll go ahead and rate the chapter. So we'll start with Kev. What do you rate this chapter out of 10?
I was thinking about this for a minute because I felt as though a lot of people would say this is a 10, but I don't know if I could say that in my heart it's a 10 because I think 1102, I think that was a 10. And that was a pretty recent chapter, and I felt like everything about it was like it coalesced like perfectly. But I think this is like a solid 9. I think this is a solid 9 because the punch was amazing, which we're obviously going to get into that more, I assume. And the speech after the punch was amazing, but then the latter half it was cool, but it didn't have that same oomph. You know what I mean? But it was still an amazing chapter, no doubt.
No, for sure. Yeah, I could definitely see a 9 or 10. So Zane, what are you ranking this chapter?
Man, I'm gonna have to go a solid 9.
Like and subscribe.
Bro. Oh wait, can y'all not hear me?
No, I can
Nah,
hear
you good.
Oh, I was gonna say, I'm gonna have to go a solid 9.5, bro. For sure.
9.5.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Like we've been waiting for this moment.
Does Zane speak? I ain't hear him.
Oh, you can't hear him?
J-
I can hear him.
JJ, hop back out and hop back in. Maybe I don't know why.
Boy got me muted.
I know. That's crazy.
My bad. Oh, so he was talking and I just cut him off. My bad.
Yeah.
All right, I'm out.
Oh my god!
Bro, I swear this always happens only to JJ. I swear.
Hold on,
But
man.
yeah.
Last time you was in a secluded area, your thing was acting up too. I hear you right now, Zane.
True.
I hear you.
Oh, okay, bet. But yeah, 9.5, man. Beautiful art this chapter, by the way. Like the don't get me wrong, there's a lot of shading, a lot of like messy lines, but it works in my opinion for this panel or this double spread, I should say. And
I thought that was the impact. You know what I mean? Because it was such like shit. Yeah.
For sure. And that's why I think it's so beautiful. I feel like Oda spent like hours on this double spread alone. And then I don't know, man. It's just we've been waiting for this moment since Kuma's backstory started. Saturn's been a-hole the entire time. It's just beautiful finally seeing him get sent across the island and pretty much low diffed, if we're being real. If he didn't have regeneration, that probably would have killed him. Like, let's be real.
Very true.
Yeah, I mean, that was a hard hitting punch, man. We're gonna definitely talk about that punch. I don't want to get too much into it right now, but JJ, what do you rank the chapter?
Oh Lord.
Like and subscribe.
Oh, you cut out.
Oh my god.
That's how we probably. And he's not even in here.
Oh, okay.
I think he's
Yeah, he
probably
did.
joining back.
All right, Prince.
I think you might-
What about you, Prince? What do you rank the chapter this week?
Well, I'd have to say, in terms of overrating, it's very hard to like put it in a box because lore-wise and as a moment in the story, it is a clear 10. Clear. However, it's very short felt. Like I said, there's moments where like it's just escaping from Saturn and stuff like that. It's a very quick chapter as a feel to it. Like many action panels and stuff like that. So, in terms of that, they're like fighting and stuff like that. It's like an 8. So I'd go middle ground and say it's a 9 out of 10, just like him.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
JJ, what do you rank it then?
Like
Like
and subscribe. Like and
yes,
subscribe.
sir.
I'm not sure if it's
So,
Tom.
are we waiting on me right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Listen, man, I don't know what's going on with me. At first, I couldn't hear Zane. Now the pause, I'm assuming that's Preach talking, but I don't hear nothing from Preach.
Oh,
I'm assuming y'all waiting on me to rate the chapter, so I'm gonna just go ahead and cook real quick, and then I'm gonna jump back out. But 2024 first chapter of the year, I feel like it was a table setter for everything that's about to come. You know, very happy with the fact that Kuma landed that punch. Very important for him to do that. He deserves that. Everything that he's been through in his life, at least let that man get his punch in. And most importantly, he was able to hold his daughter, and she, like, you know, she was showing her appreciation. I've read that as that was her basically saying goodbye. She don't know what's about to go on, but at least she was able to say those things to him, to his face. So like when he passes, for real, she at least was able to get her off her chest, and at the same time realize that you know, he was basically about his word with, you know, touching his memory bubble. With that being said, I'm giving the chapter a 7.5. Yo, I said I'm giving it an 8 in our little Discord. Make sure y'all check us on Discord. I gave it an 8 on the Discord, but as I was going through the chapter, I'm like, yo, it felt really short. I don't know how the pages work out, but I felt like it was a really short chapter. And other than those 2 emotional hits in the beginning, everything is just really just setting the table for what's coming on later on. You know, Oda's living by his standard of more questions than answers, because now we trying to figure out what's going on with Luffy, why this guy can regenerate, stuff of that sort. And, you know, it's leaving us with a lot of mystery to go on with. But I want to save my 8s and my 9s for when we at peak. And I think we setting the table for peak, but we not there yet. So I'm gonna say I'm comfortable. I'm going hard. 2023 was crazy. We can't just be giving 8s and 9s and 10s all crazy. So I'm gonna just give it the 7.5 now. And then I bet you within these next 2 chapters, we gonna be back to that 10 status that we've been accustomed to. But let me be the hard judge. I got to make sure Krow happy, and he get to say that I'm the harsh judge of the crew. So I don't know what everybody else's numbers is, but I'm going with that 7.5. I'm sorry, family. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think 7 is a bit low, but, you know, I can see what you're saying, though.
All right, I'm going to jump out real quick.
All right. Yeah, so JJ
is
has
so
he's
funny.
having a few
Dude
technical-
literally has Corazon's fruit, bro. He literally has Corazon's fruit. It's so funny.
Yeah.
That's
So,
as soon as I was about to jump out, then I heard Prince and preach, and I'm like, yo, is it just me? Like, I don't know.
yeah,
My
I don't know what's
internet
going
may
on,
be
but
slow right now. It may be a me thing right now.
This is hilarious.
all right. So
laugh
for
at
me, I
myself,
think
man.
I gotta go with a 9. I really do love the punch for sure. I think it's up there as one of the best punches of One Piece for sure. Actually, I want to ask you, do you think, or what do you like better, this punch or Luffy and the Celestial Dragon punch?
I like
So
this
I'm
one better.
actually I'm
This one
sending
holds more
in the
weight.
side chat. I'm sending in the side chat the comparison
I'll make a
because
poll
I
in
sent the
chat, too.
Luffy one. I sent the Luffy one, because I think, well, just for me, because I just felt this Kuma punch. It's kind of interesting how the paneling kind of changed it, because the Luffy one is unexpected in a way. You know, we didn't expect it to happen, and for it to be such a big deal. You know, dude's an asshole, obviously. But with Kuma, we know it's coming. We know how terrible this dude is. So I think the kind of change in paneling is really interesting. You know what I mean? And the Kuma one obviously is way more build up, but I think the Luffy one for me takes it because of just the unexpected rawness of it. And the anime, I think, is also, we don't know what it's going to be like in the anime for Kuma, to be fair, but I think the anime scene heightens it, in my opinion.
Bro, I was literally about to say the exact same thing. I completely agree with Kev. Like, the unexpectedness of the situation from Luffy to punch a Celestial Dragon when it was like cut and clear throughout the entire arc of Sabaody that it's not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to defy the Celestial Dragons. And what does Luffy do? Doesn't even defy them. He just straight up harms them and punches them. And Charlo's almost died too. Keep in mind, he is not strong. He is weak. So
What you mean?
Never mind.
I mean, he's, to be fair, he survived a punch from Luffy, from his Grand Fleet. I mean, actually, is Charlo still alive?
Bro,
He's
I
He's
don't
probably
know
kicking
how.
around. He's probably kicking around. Yeah.
Like there's been like memes about it, but he genuinely might have the greatest durability in all of One Piece. Like it's nuts. But in general, I'd have to say because of the unexpectedness of the situation, I'm still gonna give it to Luffy's punch, but that's only because it's also been animated. And when I saw it, it was animated first and not from a manga panel. So when this gets animated, hopefully, because I think the hope from Oda was to make this a better situation because we're punching a Gorosei now. I think that when it gets time that it becomes animated, it'll be extremely amazing.
Man, it's a tough one for me. I think I'm gonna go. I think I might have to go Luffy as well. Like you said, man, like that was like a defining moment, not only for the arc, but for Luffy's character as well. Like we already knew he would do it, but it's like the way he did it, and just like you could see the emotions building up, and it's just like a raw moment for his character where Luffy's gonna do what he wants to do. It's like a defining moment for him as a pirate as well, the pirate he wants to be. And looking back on it too, you know, the whole Sun God Nika thing and everything, it's like that was like an early hint for like Sun God Nika, with the entire slavery situation. But the Kuma one is great as well for sure. I mean, the entire build up for his backstory was really this entire punch was the final climax of that in my mind. But yeah, it's a close one. It's a close one for sure for me. I'm gonna go with Luffy. What about you, Zane? Which punch did you think hit harder? Which one did you like better?
Well, first of all, shout out Flevance, bro. Appreciate that. You're real.
Oh yeah, Flevins in the chat, $5. Shout out to Buggy Big Top.
Oh Jesus.
Yo, shouts to Buggy, Big Top, no pause. That's all I'm saying.
But I'm gonna be real honest with you. I think it's Kuma by a mile, and just because the emotions involved, I like Kuma as a character. I'm not saying I like him more than Luffy, obviously, but from what we've seen from Kuma compared to what we saw that led up to the punch with Luffy and Charlos, it's just the emotions, the stakes. It's just it's better by a mile in my opinion.
No, that's fair. I mean,
By a mile.
The one thing I will say is the art for Luffy and Charlos is definitely better, but that's probably the one and only thing I'd say is better.
yeah,
I just feel like
we gotta
we've
wait
been
for
waiting for
the Kuma scene has to be animated too. I feel like when that gets animated, it's gonna be with the music and everything. We were talking today in the chat. It's like with I forgot who it was in the chat in the Twitter. They were saying like when it's animated, the way that the impact of the punch is gonna hit harder too.
Oh, much harder. And not just that, but when you see through these panels, because they were doing it with Kuma's backstory of flashing through his life, they're going to do the exact same thing with the punch because
Right
Kuma's about to punch, and then it's the flashback memories of his dad. Then it's Guinea, then it's Bonnie, and then he's about to punch. It's all going through his mind. That animated is going to be so much better than it is with the manga because we're just reading it. But with emotion, sound, like actual dialogue, it's gonna hit that much harder. So the animation, I'm sure, is gonna carry, and it's gonna be hopefully much better than Luffy's punch in Sabayori.
Oh my god. I actually just realized something kind of crazy. So I didn't really think about it when I was reading the chapter at the moment, but Kuma has hockey in these panels. He has armament hockey in his hand.
Yeah.
But he's dead. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
He's
Yeah,
like dead, but he has hockey, dude.
We've
Dude,
been
that's
speculating
so...
it for a long
Oh,
time
God.
now. That since I think like when he started the punch, like 3 weeks back, that he like even though he's like dead in a sense, like he has no
He's not.
function, no control, the self-destruct sequence already hit, but he still has hockey, which means he still has will. Therefore,
Dude,
he is alive. Because Saturn's main goal is to for a follower of Nika to not have any sense of individuality or any free will of his own, completely stripped away. And even when he tried to do so and take all of that from him, Kuma still has the will to fight back, which is honestly a beautiful message. But at the same time, it shows that Kuma still has not only the will to like do stuff and kind of live, but a completely stronger will than Saturn to protect his daughter. So it's something cool.
All right, so I'm
Definitely.
gonna let JJ go
amazing.
into his what do you think was better, Luffy or Kuma punch, and then we're gonna go on to the Kuma situation after that.
So, for me personally, I never read Luffy punching Charlos. So I went back and looked at it as chapter 502 in case the chat wants to look at it themselves. Chapter 502 was the one where he landed that punch. So, but for me, coming from, the anime perspective, like the anime hits so hard. I mean, it's not in a part of the chapter, but as far as the anime, like I literally love the part where Luffy was like dodging the bullets too, because that man had his mind focused. But everything about Hachi, like imagine your boy getting shot and be like, nah, don't avenge me. It was my fault that they shot me when it really wasn't. Like everything about what happened in Fishman Island just really showed just how terrible these people are. And like it's really multiplied at this point. But I just feel like setting the table with Fishman or with Sabaody makes this more impactful. So I'm literally going to say that Luffy's was better because I mean, when Luffy does things, it's more impactful than when 99% of the verse does things. We can't lie about that. But I mean, Kuma represented. I love the fact that he sent that man. He turned this into Dragon Ball Z real quick, had him flying through the whole island and everything, going through 3 or 4 buildings. It was beautiful. But Luffy really just avenging a man that in the beginning of the story he was going to war with just shows the character of Luffy altogether. And Luffy always hits a little bit harder for me, so I'm definitely going with Luffy. Shout out to Kuma though. I'm happy he got he gave Saturn his comeuppance.
No, yeah, I see what Zane is saying. I'm thinking about it. Like, I can see what Zane is saying with the Kuma punch. It's like the fact that it's a Gorosei is like it's already gonna have higher stakes and importance. But then like the thing with Bonnie and Kuma and the entire story they've been through that we just saw, I can see where you're coming from, Zane. I can see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I just think
it
it's
makes so much of
Luffy's.
importance.
I just think it's Luffy's punch on steroids. That's pretty much what it
I
is,
could see
bro.
that.
Yeah, no, that is what it is.
In
It
terms
is
of
Luffy's
narrative,
punch on steroids.
in terms of narrative, and in terms of physicality, it's literally what it is.
That's what it is.
I wouldn't say it's the same necessarily because Kuma's punch would be like if Hachi punched Charlos. That would be like the same situation because they were both seen as like lesser in a way. Luffy's just like some guy who's helping the guy who's considered lesser. Kuma is the guy who's considered lesser. You get what
But
I mean?
if you think about it, Hachi was literally hurt on the ground, near death, shot by Charlos, and Bonnie was about to die, and Kuma came in to save her, just like Luffy came in to save him.
But Kev, we gotta also understand this. For the Celestial Dragons, everybody's lesser. It doesn't matter.
That is true.
Yeah,
that is
and not
true.
just that.
Yeah.
With the Gorosei, it's an even like greater version to that degree because not only are they like higher tier Celestial Dragons, they probably in their mind somewhat even consider the like regular Celestial Dragons lower to some extent. So the Gorosei are really like gaudy and feel like they are on top of the world, which they are, and pretty much ruling over everything possible. So for that person who has such high hubris to like get absolutely domed in the head, like it's a very big deal.
Yeah, I think
definitely.
It's very close between those two. I mean, the chat is pretty close as well in the poll. But yeah, I can see either side of it. But I was gonna say something I forgot though. Oh damn, I forgot what it was. But we'll move on to what Kev brought up as well. So with the Kuma situation, he brought up the hockey. Do you think so? Vega Punk says that the Buccaneer race had a special power. Do you think that has something to do with it? And what do you guys think is this special power? Like they hinted at it, but what specifically do you think the Buccaneer race can do?
Bro, I have a quick theory. Oh wait, were you asking Kev?
I'm just asking in general. If
You can go.
you can
Yeah,
go.
you can
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Okay, so I mean this is a long shot, but my theory is that it has something to do with a Buccaneer's will. Like I think they have a type of transcendent will. So like say someone deletes their personality, deletes everything about them. Their will can remain intact if there's something strong enough on the planet or wherever they're at to keep the will intact. So like for Kuma, it'd be Bonnie, obviously.
Mm.
So whenever Kuma's body is dead, his will can take over remotely and follow his will before he died. That's what I think the Buccaneers probably are capable of.
Oh wait, are you saying it's like a similar situation to like the Klabauter Man with Mary?
Pretty much, bro. Pretty
Dude,
much.
that would actually be so sick. That would be dope as hell.
Yeah, because Vega Punk said something about like this is an act of love, right? So it could be right. Like you could be right, whereas you need some form of emotional attachment to the world still.
Yep. Keep the will intact.
Anybody else got something different or a different idea on this special ability?
So
Man, I'm literally thinking. Go ahead, cook up.
when I was streaming earlier, someone brought up the idea of the strong will as well, and said maybe Blackbeard could be a Buccaneer as well, and that's why he was able to handle the two devil fruits. Because obviously Blackbeard always had that quote unquote weird body thing that we still know nothing about.
Oh yeah,
So
Brandon
people are
King
trying to
said that.
figure out what that was.
Brandon King saying that exact same thing in chat.
Oh, well, there you go. Then it was Brandon King.
Yeah.
I thought that idea was cool because I didn't think about the possibility of Blackbeard being. I mean, he definitely could be a Buccaneer, and this is what triggered it for me because Blackbeard is like the pirate guy in One Piece, obviously, and Buccaneers are literally just pirates in the real world. So I thought that would be a cool way of throwing it in there. You know, maybe that's how Blackbeard did two fruits. Maybe their will is strong enough to handle something like that, which is kind of. It could be seen as like a devil fruit thing, but it could be seen as like their will is so strong they handle all this hardship, you know, and they're still able to live on, which is kind of like what Kuma did in the actual story. You know, his life was hardship, but he still, you know, lived on.
That's fire.
Yeah, that is
Nah,
fire.
that
That is
definitely
fire.
does make
That's
sense.
fire, bro.
Makes so
And
much sense.
it makes more sense than mine, I'd say.
I think I like both. I like both.
Yeah, I do. I feel like
Bro.
it's on the same tangential plane, like in terms of talking
Yeah.
of wills and stuff.
On off topic, real quick. Somebody in the chat said, "I think Gaimon was a Buccaneer, and he will be coming back soon."
Dude, not just him, and Sarfunkel too, his girl. You know, they're coming together.
Bro,
Man, gotta love Gaimon talk.
I
That's pretty
kind of
funny.
wish Oda would give us like 1 or 2 chapters in between some arcs, like another Gaimon situation, just like a little like filler kind of thing, like because like Gaimon was 1 chapter, but it was still a fun chapter.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think the misadventures of One Piece are something I kind of miss. I was gonna sound like Flapjack, but like the misadventures, you know, like we need those small character moments that don't add too much, but they're just a fun short narrative. Because One Piece, obviously, at this point in the story, Oda, and people flame Oda for this a lot, is that he spends too much time in one location. He spends too much time on one thing, and while I think it's really good for world building, you know, we see a lot of one location. Having some locations that still have that, you know, mystery to them is just fun. You know, you're always kind of wondering, like, oh, I wonder what that place was like, or this or that. You know, kind of like early Baroque works, where we just kind of had that sense of wonder wherever we would go to a new place.
Yeah, I mean, like, cause I think about Wano, right? Like, we didn't really need to get the sumo fights and stuff. Like, some of the early stuff in Wano, if we could have just had like 1 or 2 arcs in a new island, that might have been giving him time to think about Wano more. But so I want to go back to JJ. You said you were gonna have something to say about the special ability, right?
I mean, not too much, but I just feel like the more that we learn about this world, specifically within this chapter, I feel like it may it may eventually all come into the origin of the devil fruits altogether. I mean, for Saturn to be so adamant about, listen, your kind is going to be a slave or you're going to die. It just literally makes me feel like, yo, he knows something about their people that he just can't allow for the world to find out as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's worried about, you know, maybe Kuma, like we've been talking about, you know, Will, and I just think like his manifestation of wanting to love and protect what he cherishes so much may, like, literally, as long as he has like his operable body, his body's gonna allow himself to do whatever it can to protect Bonnie. Like you see, he punched Bonnie. he got Saturn up out of there, and now it's like his body can't do anything. Like he just felt like Bonnie just being in immense danger. His body just reacted. He got her out of that danger for the foreseeable future, or for the meantime, and now he's just back to being how Vega Punk was saying, basically being a vegetable. I could just imagine like all of this just one way or another just come into being, like how we was able to get devil fruits coming to be. I'd still think of Vegapunk saying like, you know, people that got devil fruits are in another dimension. So maybe like Kuma's dead and going in this dimension, but like a piece with him still having that memory bubble that was around for a second, he's still able to, you know, tap into this one and be able to protect the one that matters to him the most. You know, that's just me freestyling. I don't know.
I mean, I could definitely see something with the devil fruit as well. I mean, we know that Luffy has I mean, they said like the zone has a will of its own, right? The mythical zone. I don't know. We don't know for sure. Like I'm assuming that Kuma's is still not a mythical zone. It's a paramecia, but there could be something to it where the Buccaneers, if they get a devil fruit, it gives them some extra ability as well. But for me, I'm starting to think it could also be a thing of with Kuma. We know a big thing with his character is religion, right? So is it a thing of like a religion element tied into it? If you believe in something so strongly that it gives you a stronger, unshakable will. Like we know he's carrying around a Bible. He believes in Nika. So a true believer in their religion, and that could be a thing where it awakens something, even after with Kuma, he's gone right now, but you know it kind of brings him back. And I was thinking, I don't know if you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that Whitebeard is also a Buccaneer.
Buccaneer.
Right?
Buccaneer.
So I was thinking, like, wasn't it a thing where his Jolly Roger was like a swastika?
A cross.
But isn't that, like, I think I saw a theory that's also, or not a theory. Isn't
Oh,
that
you mean
also,
the
like, a religious
Taoist?
symbol?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So I was gonna say, like, maybe that could also be a thing where like Whitebeard, because remember Whitebeard, like he was fighting and he was standing even when he was like he was already gone and he's just standing there in Marineford. Like he was just, I don't know, man. It could be something where his will is just like keeping him there, standing still even after he's gone. But I don't know. Maybe it's just a theory. But let me know what you guys think in the chat.
I really like that idea. I'm not gonna say that religion itself is like what helps him get stronger, but I think it's like if you have something you're so like passionate about or you care so much about. Like obviously religion could have been the thing for Kuma, but it easily could have been Bonnie as well. It could be seen in like multiple, you know, things. And it could be also, you know, him wanting Luffy to be, you know, Nika, obviously. He thinks he could be that guy. And he knows that Luffy is also here somehow. It's like, it's perfect because both of these things he cares so much about are all together. And Whitebeard, I completely agree. Not that he's a Buccaneer, but like the parallel between these two, I think is really strong. You know, they're so devoted to caring about, you know, like their family. And obviously, Whitebeard, you know, he sacrificed everything to make sure his family was safe because that's all he cared about in the world. That was his dream. You know, and I think the theme of like dreams giving you a sort of like, you know, emphasis like you can live on even further and do more because you believe in something so much. I think it's definitely possible, you know.
All right, so I wanna bring up another idea. I've been seeing a lot of people, especially in my comment sections on a specific video, or is this Joyboy? A lot of people are saying, is Joyboy actually a Buccaneer race? So what do you guys think?
Joyboy himself?
Yeah, like the original Joyboy, was he a Buccaneer?
Ooh. You know,
I'm so mad I can't remember who made that theory, but they were talking about like, you know, when Emu was looking at the straw hat, they felt like the hat was too small for a giant, but like in regards to a Buccaneer, it may fit. Like I could definitely see it. I can imagine like, you know, if Joyboy was as impactful as we imagine him to be, just like they did with Roger, anything that's involved with Joyboy, they just gonna wipe it off the map. Ace ain't do nothing but be born by a guy that we didn't like, so we got to get rid of him too. So if they willing to do something like that in regard to somebody as small as the Pirate King, who like really like the only way he really affected the world was make people go look for the One Piece, but Like that really hasn't amounted to anything since he's been gone, and they still had to get rid of his son and all that. I can imagine they would do the same thing for Joy Boy. So, I mean, between Lunarians or Buccaneers, I could definitely see Joy Boy being somebody that just had to be extinct. And then the Giants could even work with that too, because the government got the fear of God of them Giants. So, any of those people could definitely work.
I really think there's two options in my mind. And the reason why I'm saying this is because of the giant straw hat in Marijua. Now, could it be a Buccaneer? Yes, like it really could be, since Buccaneers are also seen to be quite giant as well. But who would be giant other than giants? I mean, like they're the biggest like creatures. I'm not gonna say creatures, but beings in all of One Piece. And I feel like if someone would like carry that straw hat that Emu like is so desperately trying to keep in a freezer, it would be a giant. But also at the exact same time, I could see Joy Boy being like a race that none of the like races he helped out in the Void Century, like in general. Like he's not a giant, he's not a fishman, he's not a buccaneer, he's not a Lunarian, he's none of them. He's just a regular dude, but he helped all these different races come together and learn to accept one another and, you know, just bring happiness, peace, joy, laughter, and all that.
So what's up with the giant straw hat?
That I don't know. I mean, that could literally be anything. I'm starting to think that it might be like an everlasting awakening of some kind of like how Long Ring Long Land is extended and very free, like the entire island is. So it's just something like that.
Dak has a good point. He could just be a human that made himself giant with the Nika fruit.
Yeah,
I was literally gonna say that exact same thing. I didn't see that in the chat, but that's so crazy.
Also, shout out to Dak being in chat.
We've also seen some pretty big humans like Whitebeard, Big Mom, some other characters as well. So I could like if we're looking back on the Ancient Kingdom and the ancient times of One Piece, when you have Zunisha, Sea Kings, and just like massive things, I could see where like there was a human that was just naturally massive and tall but I mean I could see all the different theories. I mean, ores in my mind you could justify where it's like if we seen Luffy become smaller, right? So like if it's a Nika fruit, if it's a human fruit, something like a ores would become a bit smaller. He can also stretch down like Luffy's chibi form. With the Buccaneer race, I could definitely see it with the connections with Kuma, with Sun God Nika and everything. I could see everything. Like even the human one that you said. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities for sure. But I wanna read some chats. So I seen they said they were talking about Charlos and versus Kuma. A lot of people are saying Charlos in the chat, but they're also saying like it might just be pre-time skip nostalgia.
Boy,
I mean, I could see it, but for me, it's like we're always gonna have bias for pre-time skip nostalgia, but at the same time, then we're also gonna have recency bias right now. So exactly. I think you just pick what you want, and then. But right now, the poll is looking at 59% for Kuma, so that's interesting. We also see some other things. I see Brandon King said, or is it? He said he thinks the Buccaneer thing. He thinks Blackbeard is a Buccaneer. And I seen another one. What if Joyboy was still a giant, but he just happened to be less big and the original Buccaneer ancestors? So like, what if he was the first Buccaneer? I think that's a interesting idea. But it's kind of weird because like with the Buccaneers, we don't know what happened to them, but I'm assuming that they also were dying in that war with like the Ors race with Lunarians as well. So I'm assuming they got wiped out during that war. So I'm not sure if that would work, because then it's like, how old was Joyboy? Was he born during the Void Century? And then the Buccaneers just don't exist anymore. So I'm assuming the Buccaneers had to be older than Joyboy. But yeah, so we'll move on to the next things. So the next thing I want to talk about in the chapter was Kizaru. Kizaru is a big talking point this week because, you know, I seen a lot of stuff on Twitter during the leaks and the spoilers coming out and everything, and people going crazy. I mean, the Admiral agendas are going crazy. People saying Kizaru is mentally nerfed. You know, he has a lot going on in his mind. And was he like when we talk about Luffy and Kizaru's fight, right? They're both coming back and they're both good to go, really. I mean, Kizaru looks like he's ready to go again. And he took a massive punch, but what is your guys' opinions on Kizaru this chapter? And do you think he's going to switch sides?
I don't know. Boys kicking Frankie out the picture. I don't know, man.
That was
sorry, JJ. I'm sorry, JJ.
that was a fun panel. I enjoyed that because obviously the Frankie's beams are based off Kizaru, so that was fun. I liked how there was a little scene for that.
For sure. I wish you would have commented on it.
Yeah.
Like on
I assume that was why he said, "My goodness, you certainly have grown a lot." I assume that was why.
Oh, yeah, actually you're right. Now that I'm looking at it. But I don't know. I feel like Kizaru is it's hard
Kind
to
of being
read him right now.
sarcastic.
It's just really hard to read him right now, bro.
Nah, that doesn't make sense. Because, like, in general, I feel like Kizaru is a very sarcastic, stoic type person. So if he were to, like, demonstrate or show his true feelings, it wouldn't necessarily etch right away.
I think Kizaru has to stay in the Marines right now because Sakazuki needs Kizaru.
He does.
He needs him, bro.
That is a definite fact. Right now, Akainu can't do anything without Kizaru. If Kizaru leaves, then that's quite literally just Akainu. It's not even bad for Akainu. It's also bad for the Marines as a whole because that means Akainu has a complete power monopoly of the Marines, and we all know what that would lead to. So,
well, I wouldn't say that necessarily because Fujitora does not like Akainu at all.
But
and he's one of the
Fujitora is
admins.
also not able to access any Marine HQ until he gets Luffy. And
okay. I thought he just wasn't allowed. Yeah. It's not he can't access it, right? He's just not allowed to.
He's quite literally, apparently, since Dressrosa banned, but obviously Fujitora has his own like workarounds, and he's like, oh, but Marisha is not a Marine HQ. Yeah.
I think Kizaru might have like a Gart Marineford moment where he let somebody go, maybe Vega Punk or something. He's like he has him dead to rights, about to kill him, and he's like, fine. And like he lets him go, and it'll come up and bite him in the butt, but it won't get him kicked out of the Marines completely.
I agree. I don't think it's going to be as obvious as him switching sides. I mean,
yeah,
I can see the argument where it's like the Egghead incident is such a massive event where that would be a game changer for sure. An Admiral teaming up with Luffy and Kuma versus a Gorosei. But in my mind, I feel like Kizaru, he's definitely. There's definitely a lot going on in his head with Kuma and Bonnie and everything going on. I could definitely feel that he cares about them, even Vega Punk. But I feel like even though he does, Kizaru is still a guy where he's gonna put his emotions aside and do the job. And we've seen that from this entire chapter. I mean, he said he's a cog in the machine, right? So it's like he knew what he was getting into in this chapter. Maybe not with Kuma, or I mean in this arc, he didn't know with Kuma that he was going to show up. But and he didn't know for sure like Bonnie and Luffy would show up. But I feel like he was ready for anything at the end of the day. If he was ready to get rid of Vega Punk, I feel like and he was so focused when he was fighting Luffy to give Vega Punk, right? So I feel like if he was ready to end Vega Punk, I feel like he's ready for anything at this point.
Makes sense.
I wanted to hop in really quick because I was looking up chapter 502 specifically for the comparison. And the chapter where Luffy punches not Kizaru, oh my god. The chapter where Luffy punches Charlos is called The Incident of the Celestial Dragons. So I'm starting to think that Kuma punching Saturn is the Egghead incident. And that's it. Like, we're not getting anything as crazy as that. But what do you guys think on that?
Well, I mean, I can see it where it's like Luffy, after this arc, 100% is in a war against the Celestial Dragons and Marisha. Like, there's no coming back from this after this arc. Dragons already declare war, so in my mind, this is the moment where Luffy he's now involved in this as well. So that's kind of how I see it, where now you got to fight against Dragon and his revolution, then you got to fight against Luffy and a Yonko crew, and even against Crossgill, because we saw that they're also going after Crossgill. So it's like the whole world is kind of going into a world war against the world government. So I think that's kind of like a big pivotal moment as well of involving Luffy into it. I think there will be a really big moment at the end, probably with Blackbeard, honestly, but I don't know.
I think what you just said is really interesting to me, and you even brought up Blackbeard as well. It's kind of hilarious how every single organization in the world is against the world government except Blackbeard, who willingly wants to join the world government. I think that's so interesting.
Especially with someone someone with his power too. It's crazy.
With my theory with that is like, I think it's possible that we see Blackbeard. He kidnaps the Gorosei, where they frame it where like Luffy kidnapped Vega Punk, and then Blackbeard gets the Gorosei. And then he's able to use him as like a leverage to get what he wants. Like if he has Garp and the Gorosei, there's no way. Like the government has to cooperate with him, and then he gets his kingdom. So that's kind of how I see it. But I know a lot of people think that Saturn is not making out this arc alive. So I can see both ways. But what were you gonna say, Prince? About what do you think about this?
I was gonna say, man, with the whole war thing, and I think the reaction that Luffy's gonna have in terms of being at war with the world government, I think he's just gonna scoff at it and be like, "We've already been at war. Ever since you took Robin, we've been at war." So, like, it's funny that Luffy already started this war against the world government all the way back in Enies Lobby, and for him, I think he's still in that mindset, because when he went to, or when they were talking, recently animated too, the whole like Green Kaido situation with Zoro and not saving Vivi right now. Like he was ready to go to Marijua, and Luffy is very set in stone in things and knows what he wants to do and never backs down on anything. So if he does it, it's for a reason in his head. And that reason is he's already at war with them. So I'm ready to go now. And he even said to Zoro, "What are you afraid of? Are you scared of going into the enemy headquarters?" So he's ready for war because he's been ready. He's already like fought against the world government and won. So if anything, Dragon should be taking tips. So
yes. Yeah. Like dude, you just cooks. I wish there was like sound effects. I think is there sound effects on Discord?
I mean, we have a soundboard, but the soundboard, I haven't used the soundboard in a while. Good
That's
old
what you
future
just
sight.
That's what you just did, bro. Like literally everything. And you know what makes that so perfect? There's a Buster call. Lucci is here.
Yep.
Robin was in danger. Like everything is. Oh my god, that would be so amazing if that. Like I don't know if Luffy would say that 1-to-1, but anything close, I would be immensely happy.
Yeah, not just that, but we also like know the fact. What was I gonna say? That that Clover and Professor Clover was gonna reveal the Ancient Kingdom name in Enies Lobby in the flashback, and then obviously got offed. So we were talking about it last week or previous stream as well, that it could be that in this case, in the Egghead incident, not only is the punch from Kuma extremely massive in terms of a moment that shatters the world, but to add onto fire, the cherry on top is the name of the Ancient Kingdom gets spread all across. God. And Robin this time, stepping in for Clover's place, is able to actually say the name. And I also have a headcanon that Luffy says it instinctively, like with Robin, but he doesn't know why or how. It's just in him.
Yeah, I love that idea that Luffy already knows what the name of it is. Like it's something that's like sort
just
of
deep in his core. Just resonates with it. That that's the name. It makes sense.
Maybe it's not just Luffy. Maybe it's all the people who know the will of D. Maybe that's it. That could be something.
Very well be. But yeah, that was my thoughts on it, Preet. About like in terms of war.
What if like Kaido Emu likes to remember the only person to challenge him, Joyboy, so he keeps the hat?
Oh my god, I was just talking about this to someone. I forgot who, but I literally Mr. Bushido. In our Discord. Shout out to the OPU Discord as well. Make sure to join up. But if you want to like chat theories, we do it all the time. But me and Mr. Bushido were talking up about one of his theories that he had about Vivi and crazy ass theory. But in general, we were also going like addressing the fact that Emu could possibly be trying to hoard all these different things of Joy Boy and everything, and letting Luffy come to pass and just let him be and let him become strong, because he has this own hubris in him that nobody could possibly challenge him, like other than Joy Boy himself. Which is why he's just letting Luffy run rampant right now. Otherwise, he would have been offed like ever since he got like the 30 million bounty in the first place, and heard that there was a rubber being. I think that might be a reason.
I think, you know, we know the government wanted the Nika fruit, so I'm not sure about that. But like, I want to shout out Wizard of Wars. You know, he made his own new channel and everything, and he's doing great content over there. But his first video on his channel was he made a video talking about he thinks the Gorosei and Shanks made a deal where like Shanks helps keep the balance, and then Luffy, they can't touch Luffy. You know, like, cause he stole the Nika fruit, and then so he basically said like Shanks made a deal. So once Luffy got his first bounty, he was like, yeah, you guys, if you guys if you guys do anything with Luffy, then you know I'm breaking this deal, and then and you're gonna have basically war with the Yonkos at that point. So I mean, I can see both, but I just, in my opinion, I like that one a little bit better.
No, it makes sense. But man, Planet Birthday, so kind of like Madara. Yeah, so in anime in general, there's always, I was talking about this with Mr. Bushido, that there's always a character who's known to be either extremely too strong or just bored in life because they are too strong. People come in mind, we got Madara, there's Beerus, you have, who's another good one? Saitama. Even if it's a bit more niche and not fighting related, but Kuroko no Basket, there's Aomine. Known for beating everyone on the court, and nobody could possibly beat him in basketball. And because of that, he got PTSD and trauma from the fact that nobody can beat him, so he's always bored in life.
That's crazy.
So I know that's honestly insane.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, so there are like character tropes like that, and for Emu to be sitting on a throne for 800 plus years has everything at their disposal. Everything in the world is theirs. King of the world, quite literally. I don't know who Sakamoto is, but I'll take your word for it, Dal, that Sakamoto is also one of those. But
it's Sakamoto Days. The
Sakamoto Days
manga.
Fire manga, by the way.
Is that the new one?
It's relatively new.
Man,
it's like a
few
years old.
Reading more manga.
So someone
it's
brought
so
up
good, bro.
Someone brought up something really interesting. I want to see what everyone says. Because of Saturn's regeneration, I don't see ways he can be permanently put down.
Bro, that's what I was just about to ask, bro. I was gonna say, how do y'all think you get past his regen, bro?
It might have something to do with Emu, because I feel like if all the Gorosei are sort of reliant on Emu, and they all change their forms in the room with Emu, obviously. Maybe there's some connective tissue, especially since they worship Emu, like literally. Maybe there is something to it. And what I think is going to prevent it is the magic circle thing. That definitely has something to do with his regeneration, in my opinion.
Like the awakening cloud that he has behind him?
No, the magic circle. There was like a pentagram.
The pentagram itself. Yeah. Okay. That's what you're talking about.
Okay, this is actually really like tinfoil, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. I think the regeneration is kind of like the holograms on Egghead, where it is real because it's something you see, but it's not actually real. You know, it's like this sort of intangible thing until it is. You know, like the gloves. You remember the gloves that were introduced earlier in this arc that could hit a hologram?
Yeah.
It's like if you have something like that that can hit the actual physical Gorosei, that's how they get damaged. Kind of like, I guess, kind of like Ryo in a way, where it's like you hit them internally, like their true self, versus just some outer barrier-esque thing. I don't know. I kind of was spitballing there, but I think there's something to do with like this form not being a real thing, I guess.
I mean, it kind of makes sense because it's also with Kizaru as well, right? They were talking about how it punches light, and that's a defense mechanism to how to fight Kizaru. They were talking about it
Mm.
earlier in the arc.
So,
But yeah,
so
go ahead, Zay.
When he
go ahead, go
regens,
ahead.
does it not remind y'all of a Logia?
So okay, so I was gonna
Am I
ask that,
tripping?
right? So do you think it's Logia in the sense of like the Logia can pretty much regenerate at any time just automatically, right? Without even thinking
Yeah.
about it. Or do you think Saturn is consciously making the effort to, you know, every time that he's hit, he has to use some kind of energy to regenerate, similar to Big Mom in a way. What do you guys think the power is going to be? Because if it's a Logia situation, then that is just broken, man. But
Bro, but you gotta think about it. Mythical zone. We're all assuming that it's a mythical zone, right?
so I guess the better comparison would be to Marco, right?
Yeah, pretty much
Ooh,
like
yeah.
like a Marco comparison. How mythical zones have aspects of each fruit tier. Maybe he has an aspect of a Logia fruit.
Oh
But-
shit!
See,
I
I
think
don't think mythical zones have an aspect of each fruit tier. I think that's a bit different. I think that the only fruit that can do that is Luffy's.
I think
Because,
I think
I
I
mean,
had a.
Yamato
Oh, you can
also
go.
has like all three, and I guess not Paramisi, right? But she has two. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but like for at least in my mind, they have at least two. So,
Yeah, for sure.
Two in what way?
like if you look at like Marco, right? Like he has the fire. He can also
Yeah.
regenerate, similar to a Logia, but he's also a zone as well.
But
And that usually only applies to mythical zone. From
it
what
was
we've
similar to a Logia because of how it was very flowing, but I think it was explained that he always regenerates, which is why he's able to like constantly.
It's a healing
Because that's what
ability,
the Phoenix is. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah,
everlasting
but the
flames
thing
and
is,
whatnot.
attacks like go through Marco
Yeah,
like a
in
like a
Marineford,
Logia.
like they like I think
Almost.
they shot him and like it just went through him.
He
Okay,
regens,
so-
and it's not like a Logia because he has to actually regen.
Mhm.
Like he has to
I-
regenerate that lost portion, but it moves like a Logia almost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a
No,
Logia.
no,
but
I
it's
get what
similar.
you mean. I get what you mean.
Similar.
Like it's not a Logia, but it looks like a Logia. Because
Yeah.
that's what we thought for the other fruit as well. I forgot which one it was. The one that moves like a Logia, but it's not one.
You talking about
yeah,
Katakuri?
Katakuri?
Katakuris, as well as the other dude, the one in
But his
Dressrosa,
is a
the really
special
annoying one.
Paramecia, so-
Treble, that's his.
Anyway, the
Oh.
reason I bring it
Yeah.
up though
Treble's
is
a great comparison.
I bring it
Yeah.
up just to say like if Saturn is expending any type of energy on this, there's gonna come a point where he takes a hit so big from Luffy that he can't regenerate from it, or it's just if Luffy knocks him out, I don't like a Logia can do it unconsciously. They just regenerate, right? But like if it's not like that, if Luffy hits him with something so hard that knocks him out, similar to Kizaru, I don't know if he can just instantly regenerate without even thinking about it and without having the energy to do it. So that's why I'm asking that. But I mean, we still got to learn more about his fruit, to be honest.
I think the weakness is going to be Advanced Conqueror's Haki, bro. To that region.
That could because
think
it
it
like
is, bro.
stops devil fruit or devil like just in general like enhancements or something like
So
that.
It's the
That'd be
most
cool.
potent form of Haki, and I feel like we haven't seen everything that it can do yet.
That's a good point
Yeah.
too, because I'll bring up if we're talking about Logias, right? Like we know that somehow Akainu took off Kuzan's leg, and they couldn't regenerate. So like, there's something to that where, let's say he has extreme Haki, maybe that's the final attack that like took off his leg. It could be similar where if you're strong enough with Haki, you can permanently damage Saturn. I mean, there has to be a way. Like, if the Logia can be permanently damaged, I feel like there has to be a way to do it.
Yeah, I think not Logias, but another thing that it's very rampant in the community in terms of possible regeneration. What if this is the perpetual youth surgery? What if this is how it like goes around? Where like you just always perpetually coming back to the state in which the surgery was done on you. So in the Gorosei's case, it would be like back to their original selves, but they're always back in that state. And I think the reason why Dofi won is because it literally makes you immortal. And with Dofi being at his prime right now, that's why he's searching for it. Because
Think about it, bro.
if he's always going to be in his prime, like whenever he's hurt and then gets back to normal, that's pretty unbeatable if you ask me. And the
You
fact
have
that there's
to
5
offer
of
up-
them, nuts.
You have to offer up your soul to
Mm.
use the
Ooh,
immortality
that
surgery.
would make so much sense. Because
So
it's
if
literally
you're offering up your
defying the
soul,
soul.
that's like the biggest thing you could offer. So if you're offering that, then the power you receive from doing that
I like
is
that.
probably ridiculous.
Hey Zane, might I say a deal with the devil?
I like that.
Literally.
Too.
Ooh,
I like that a lot
too good.
because if we can tell like there has to be some way to become a Gorosei, right? Like that could be part of the ritual. But I
Yeah.
also like the comparison to Kuma. Like Kuma basically sold his soul to become what he was, but he did it to sacrifice himself for Bonnie.
Mm.
And in a way, if you look at Kuma, like he got some crazy buffs from technology from Vega Punk. So it could be like the opposite. Like in that sense, it's a technological advancement for Kuma's powers, but like for the Gorosei, it's more on like a spiritual level.
No, that doesn't. That makes sense.
That is actually a good parallel for
Yeah.
sure.
So
That's fire.
I want to bring up two kind of thoughts I had while you guys were chefing it up.
Mhm.
So the first one was how he regenerates and like maybe what he uses. And for a while I was thinking because like, you know, pentagram, there's a bunch of devilish imagery, and you guys were even saying you give up your soul, you sacrifice your soul. There's obviously some kind of, oh, you in order to do this, you got to do this. You know, there's always some kind of condition that you need to fulfill in order to do specific things. And I think maybe remember all those Marines that were kind of just headshot when they looked at Saturn? Maybe that's what he uses to regenerate. He uses the life force of other people to regain his own life force. And I really
Kind of
do
like
like
Big
the
Mom. Kind of like Big Mom.
like Big Mom, yeah.
Yeah.
And I really liked what you guys were saying about the immortal youth surgery as well. I thought that was really cool. But I did want to bring up what Brandy King just said in the chat because I think this is really interesting for two reasons. They bring up the idea of miasma, and in case anyone doesn't know what miasma is in the chat or you know in the call or whatever, I know it's like a SAT type word. It's an ancient Greek sort of word that would go around describing this sort of overwhelming pollution that was something ever present in people, some sort of like inescapable thing that was like sort of like a, I don't know how to fully describe it. Like it literally looks like the Black Awakening clouds in most like portrayals of it, and usually it was seen in like women because women were seen as like sinful in ancient Greek mythology, and that ain't the fact it's like ancient Greek thing. I think is so perfect because these guys are meant to be seen as like godly, but the fact they have this thing that's seen as like the complete opposite of that in you know mythology, I just think would be really interesting. But what do you guys think?
No,
Man,
yeah,
I
think,
really have no idea about Greek mythology,
'cause,
but
I was gonna say they're even called like warrior gods, right? Or, like the god of
Exactly.
science or whatever.
And like Mercury, Saturn, all these are Roman
Yeah,
mythology.
yeah.
yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So, is there anything else you guys want to touch on the chapter? It was like a big moment that I missed.
Let's see. Oh, the titles of the chapter. I wanted to say that if you look at the last chapter, the title is "I'm so sorry, Daddy," and then dot dot dot, and then it's like probably a goodbye speech from Bronny that pretty much sums up the entire chapter, which the title goes for, and then right after Kuma saves Bonnie, it's "Thank you, Daddy." Just very, very simple, like kind of storytelling with the titles. It's a very small thing, but I did like that. That like there's storytelling even within the titles of the chapter themselves.
Oh, that's fire. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, even
that was cool.
you know, Kev before the stream, he brought up the cover story was hilarious, man. Like, seeing
Oh, yeah.
Sanji, the entire rat
Brilliant
thing,
cover
that
story.
running gag is just like, bro, like why does I know it comes from his backstory, but I just find it funny that Oda keeps bringing back these like
Yeah.
little
And
rats.
Chuji.
Now it's, yeah,
Remember Chuji?
yeah.
Never forget.
So, Chad, let us know if
Chuji to
there's
go.
anything from the chapter that you want us to touch on. Any questions, anything else? But one thing I do want to talk about is goes back to Luffy. You know, one big thing for this chapter was where is Luffy, right? Because we saw him eating the food last week. He disappeared. What do you think is going to happen with Luffy? Is he going to fight Kizaru again? Is he going to fight the Gorosei with Kuma and Bonnie and like what do you think is going to happen with Luffy? And I mean, like for me, I'm excited because I just think there's gonna be a team up with Kuma, Luffy, and maybe the ancient robot. That has to be a big element as well. But then it makes me wonder more about like who's gonna fight Kizaru. Is it gonna be Zoro, Sanji, and Jinbei? Is it gonna be I don't know. Like it's just there's so much possibilities that could happen in this arc. So what do you guys think is gonna happen with the next matchups?
Man, that
I
Luffy
just want
thing
to say,
had
I
me.
just need to say, hold on, Zane. I just got to say, I feel like you being rude on purpose, Preach. Like we see my boy, well, you see my boy Frankie get attacked by Kizaru, and then you just talking about who gonna fight Kizaru, Jinbei, Zoro. Frankie is getting his get back. What you talking about? We literally got I'm calling them the Techno Boys, Sanji and Frankie. We literally got them down there in the technology arc, ready to show what they about. Like they're not able to handle Saturn for reasons that you guys have discussed, but they could definitely slow down Kizaru until we get the main character back into the scene. So we definitely gonna see Frankie pop back up in the next chapter, want to get his lick back, because whatever Kizaru did, like he couldn't put down Bonnie with that same little weak kick. He was not putting down Frankie. So
No, you're right. You're right.
Frankie's
We gotta respect Frankie. You're right, because he's been putting in some work in this arc, man. Like as far
Oh yeah,
as,
Frankie been getting love this arc. That's for sure.
like he's been going up against Saturn, Kizaru, and I mean he's not gonna win, but like he's definitely showing some good moments, man.
Just a soldier, man. When
I
you're
think-
not the strongest person and you still fighting the strongest people, that's the characters that I root for.
No, I feel you, bro. Cause like he's like completely fearless going into those fights too. Like he doesn't even care. Like he's just ride or die for the Straw Hats and helping Bonnie and everything. It's like it's good to see for Frankie, because I mean even in Wano he had that moment against Big Mom, but it's just like in this.
Oh, that was so awesome.
That was so awesome, but like it was like in my mind it was kind of comedic. You can't really take it too serious with Big Mom sometimes, but right now it's like the stakes are so high, so it's like it's a little bit different for me. I like this a lot more.
Nah, it definitely makes sense.
But
I
yeah,
mean, like,
so
when
what do you guys think about the matchups though?
Matchups.
So I
Well,
got.
Zoro's preoccupied right now.
Yeah.
so
Wait.
those two
No.
weeks right now.
Bro, you know what's funny, bro? Is Oda always has to keep Zoro away from the main antagonist, bro. Always, bro.
Actually, to be fair, I agree with that. He does have a way of bringing them away from the main antagonist, and then later on, like out of nowhere, Zoro comes in.
That's why
does
Wano was
pretty
so
hefty
hyped up,
damage.
because like when he was fighting on the rooftop with Luffy, that was a monumental moment for Zoro.
It was,
sir.
bro. That put him on a different echelon, bro.
I agree.
Different echelon.
It's just,
I mean,
bro,
literally
Zane,
it is.
as a Zoro
He is
fan,
literally
like
the-
me and Zane, that's the stuff we wanted to see for years, man. For like
Oh,
1,000
God,
chapters,
bro.
bro. It's like
I mean,
Bro, we didn't
to
get to
be
see him in
literal,
whole cake for how long? Oda had to keep him off a whole cake because he would have low diff Big Mom.
all right, hold on.
He
No,
had to,
I gotta ask
he had to
you
keep him away from category.
before we get
All of
into the,
them, bro.
before we get into the matchups, I want to ask everybody one question that I saw on Twitter that it was funny, man. Like, do you think Luffy and Alabasta could defeat Mr. One?
Yes.
Oh my god, that tweet was so
bad.
Yes.
God.
How
Yes,
is this
for
even
sure.
a question?
It's funny.
that tweet
bro.
was horrible, bro. I was literally like, these people are literally reading Zoro.
What do you guys think?
I can't believe this.
No, actually, you know what? Nah.
Zane, I want to hear it, Zane.
What?
Hey, all I'm saying is Luffy don't have breath of all things, bro. That's all
Oh
I'm saying.
my
He didn't have
Oh
it back
my
then.
Oh
God.
my goodness.
That's all I'm saying,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Here, I'm gonna make a poll chat.
The fact that you have the gall to say that is crazy. That's nuts.
Bro,
That
show me
Luffy-
one panel.
The
Show me one
MC doesn't have the breath of all.
He doesn't need the breath, but he's the voice of all things, fool. Like, he doesn't need breath.
panel. Hey, I'm just saying, bro.
The breath
And what
breathes.
what is
words
Luffy's
came out.
main-
That's what happened.
What is Luffy's main weakness?
Nah, bro.
Slashing
Come
attack.
on, bro.
Slashing attacks.
Oh man.
Bro,
Dude, you
Luffy-
could just say, did
Luffy can't use-
Luffy
Luffy
beat
can't
Buggy?
use Luffy can't use his blood to go beat up a guy made of swords. Like I'm just saying. I'm just saying,
Facts,
man.
bro.
All
Facts.
all I'm saying is that Mr. One is under Buggy right now. Luffy beat Buggy in chapter 6? So I don't know what to say
It-
there.
Well, first of
How-
all, we're
the
not
whole
going to
Straw Hat
disrespect
crew to make it
Emperor
happen.
Let me
Buggy
ask
right
you.
now.
So how
No,
much
I'm
stronger?
respecting Emperor Buggy. That's what I'm saying. I'm respecting Emperor Buggy.
How,
Oh,
much,
okay,
how
okay.
much stronger do you think
Yeah.
Croc was to Mr. One at that time?
probably like how the probably about as far as Kaku was from Rob Lucci. That's probably how I'd put it.
I could see. Yeah, I could see that.
We're Doriki
That's
scaling.
not too
Baroque.
far. But the thing with the difference with
think
with
that's
Kaku
fair.
and Zoro is like, I don't even know if that was a high diff fight with Zoro and Kaku. Like
It was, and the difference is it's not a strength thing with Mr. One and Croc and Luffy. It's kind of like a hacks thing, bro. Because the only reason Luffy was able to beat Croc was just because he got him wet. Pause.
Yeah.
But I knew JJ was gonna say something, so I had to clarify that. But
yeah, like I know Zoro got. I know he had to use his strongest attack to beat Kaku, but I feel like it wasn't like a thing where he was gassed after the fight, where he's like injured, like the king stuff like that. I mean, to be fair, that is like one of the most like competitive fights I've seen from Zoro, but the Kaku
Bro,
one
the
was a
anime-
lot more. Like he just got back up and he was fighting like vice admirals and stuff, and so I mean,
King pushed Zoro farther than any besides Kaido.
insane.
Pushed Zoro to his breaking point, bro.
Yeah, that's one of the best
Yeah,
fights. Yeah,
Especially in the anime, like King literally turns to like a UFO. He turns to like some.
some fire
It's
dragon
insane.
thing. Like
Yeah,
bro,
Hey, I don't care what
What?
anybody
flying
says.
this guy was
Anime is
crazy in the
canon.
anime.
The anime is canon. I don't
Oh,
care.
that last episode's canon. Hey yo, I don't know about that one.
Oh, well, okay, take out the
Oh yeah.
those parts. Take out those portions, and it's canon. I don't know what Toei was thinking. I'm gonna be real honest with you, but hey,
Nah, they went crazy with that one for sure.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Is that the one
god.
with Nani?
So
Yeah, we're talking about
58%
the Bonnie
says
stuff.
Luffy can beat Mr. One.
That should be 100%. That's all I'm gonna
So
say.
we-
That
we-
should
all
be
I'm saying is, you remember when Luffy saw his arms getting cut off by Mihawk and Marineford? That's what would happen to him if he tried to
That's
fight Mr.
Dracula Mihawk. that is
What
the
y'all
rooftop echelon. That is not the live floor echelon.
What would y'all, if y'all just had to throw a number out there, what would be Mr. One's bounty right now?
Probably-
30K. I don't know. Like,
Wild.
God,
That's
that is
wild, bro.
disrespectful. That is so.
Come on, bro.
disrespectful.
At least like 500, 600
500K.
mil.
I think
bro.
500 yet.
Yeah,
I
like
don't
something
know,
like
bro.
that.
I mean, bro,
500
that
mil.
was, he was in
Crocs
level
Crocs is
6
what,
and
like
down, right?
1.6, 1.6 bill,
I
right?
say Crocodile almost had 2. We got to give I'm giving Mr. One like 950 for real, 950 mil.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
actually
imagine
fair.
imagine if Mr. One had Jack's bounty.
That's crazy.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that's
God.
wild. Was Mr. One in level 6 with Croc, or was he like in a lower level?
Nah, he was in level 6, wasn't he?
I don't.
I don't think he
remember.
was.
I
I don't
think
think
he
he
might have
was. He was in
been-
like a separate. No, he was in a separate thing that
Yeah, I think he
Crocodile
might have
went
been
to
level
save.
5 or 4.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
I was mistaken. Croc is 1.96. I remembered 1.6.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You were thinking of
Mr.
Boa.
One has to be at least near a billion. I wouldn't say he's a billion though. I don't think he's a billion berry man.
Nah,
Bro.
yeah. 950. I wouldn't be mad at it.
I see someone in chat saying people are watching Luffy Piece. Yes, that's exactly what One Piece is. It is
Literally.
Luffy Piece. That is what One Piece is. Like, they made an entire lore of a god to be just like Luffy. It is Luffy Piece. You are correct.
Just a
I don't
quick
know,
side
man.
tangent.
Joy Boy's looking more and more like Zoro every day.
Oh my
Sorry,
Sorry,
god.
JJ. I didn't mean to cut you off, JJ.
Oh, you good, you good. I wasn't saying nothing too important. I see Dak in here. You know, I was in his stream earlier and he was going through some of the popularity polls because, you know, Bushido was going carrot crazy again. And, you know, he was talking about how, I don't remember if it was this one or the most recent one, but he was talking about how Kuma was rated like 98 out of all the characters in One Piece. I'm pretty sure that's going to be up now.
Yo,
So he
that's-
decided to be like, yo, let me name some characters that was above Kuma. And the first person he named was Kawamatsu. And I was like, Prince is not going to like this. I just had to
See,
say that.
yeah,
Let's
I-
be for real. Like,
I disagree. I
I
mean,
honestly, if they do that again, I think Kuma might be in the top 10. If they
I
do
think
it,
Kuma's
Top
above all the
10?
Egghead or
scabbards.
near
Kuma's above
Egghead.
all the scabbards. Let
in
alone
my opinion,
Kawamatsu.
Kuma
To be
is
fair-
immediately top 3.
You think you
To be
you think
fair,
he-
back
No
then
doubt,
there
no.
wasn't much to go off
I can
with
see
Kuma,
it.
bro.
Nah, but bro,
There wasn't
people
much to
love,
go off.
everyone that I
No
know
way
loves
he's top
Kuma.
3. No, like
No, top 3 is crazy.
I
No,
can see
yeah,
top
because
top
five.
three
I
makes
mean,
so
The
much
top three is
sense.
written in.
there's
top
no
three is
way
written in
Kuma's
stone.
getting over the Luffy Zoro Sanji.
Or
There's
Shanks.
no
way.
and
I
then
don't know.
Luffy, Zoro,
Law,
Nami.
Shanks.
Nah, he can make. I
Like,
can see him
Bro,
over Law. I can see
honestly,
him
I
over Law.
really don't know. Like, his story was so good.
I think
No,
top
it
five.
was.
Top
It was-
five is definitely possible.
I'd say
Top
the
20.
highest the
Top
lowest
20.
he'd be is probably like top like 15 maybe.
Bro,
I don't
he
know.
could really be close. And if it's a recent poll and they do popularity based on
agree.
like the
I
last
agree.
like year or
If it's
something,
recent. If
Recency
it's
bias.
recent, yeah.
Well,
but the
yeah, no,
last
but
poll
that's
was
what
like
we're saying.
pretty.
Here was
Last poll was what, like 2 years ago or a year ago?
yeah. So if we do one based on this past year, I think Kuma takes it.
Oh,
I
this.
agree.
Oh,
I agree.
okay. Because I was gonna say
Yeah.
the next poll is probably gonna be in what, 2 years? Like,
But what
It's
I'm saying
probably
is
gonna
like
be
if
a
they
bit,
do
is
it
what
at
I'm
the end
saying.
of Egghead or like the anime is going on and everything, like in the midst of all the Egghead hype, I feel like I could definitely
There's
see Kuma
no
top
way
five.
Kuma doesn't like
No.
crack a top
I
10.
can see it,
And I'm-
man. I
No,
would
He
say
may be able to
Kuma?
crack the top 10, but with everything that
Oh,
happened
he's
at
definitely making
Egghead,
top 10.
the top 5 got to be Zoro, Luffy, Nami, Garp, Shanks. Like that's got to be the top 5.
no way,
Nah,
Garb's
That's gotta
top
be top
5.
five.
No way,
He's
Garb's
making it
top
over.
5.
I think he's higher than Garb and Nami for sure.
Oh man, Ain't
Really?
Nami always been a top 5 character? She always been top 5 in the
Yeah.
polls, right?
Listen, bro, Kuma.
No, she's not always. She's
do
always
you
been
know-
top 10.
Do
but
you
she's
know
not
one
always.
Kuma-
person in
Kuma
the
is a-
community who has like said they don't like Kuma this arc? Because I feel like everyone is like unanimously Kuma is
Agreed
a top
that
tier.
Kuma is an
But
amazing character.
here's
Carrot
all right.
top 10 is disgusting, by the way.
Here's-
Yeah,
I
if
want
here's
y'all to know
the
Carrot was
thing.
top 10 in the Oceanic
Come on,
territory and
No.
not Kuma, that's nuts.
That is
No,
yeah.
Carrot was top 8 in the whole world. Top 8.
Yeah,
Bro,
That's
Kuma
crazy.
is objectively a top 10 best written character in the series.
He's
That's
also
true,
obviously,
but
like
here's the
he's
thing.
set.
I love Kuma. Like before Egghead, Kuma was in my top 10. That just goes to show I'm very happy with this arc, right? But in my opinion, there's no way that Kuma is gonna get to the top 10. Like to me, it's like physically impossible. I think he's gonna get to the top 50.
what do you think?
Right? He's gonna get to the top 50. I'm being very generous,
See,
right?
I think that
Whoa.
we're very much underestimating Oda's writing skills in Kuma because look what happened with Sabo. People didn't like Sabo because he was
just gonna
introduced
say,
as an
bro.
ace replica.
No, but
And
that's
he
Sabo
that's
was
cracked-
so loved.
He
and-
crocked
and-
like what top 10
Top
out
10,
of
yeah,
nowhere, and we
exactly,
barely
bro,
even knew
exactly.
about him.
and it's
No,
all
No, but
you
that's
knew about it.
different. That's
it's
different.
not, bro.
Sabo, all right. Let me just keep it a billion, right? Sabo has merch. Sabo is attractive. Sabo is just like Sabo is literally the dream One Piece OC. Like, oh my god, he's Luffy's brother. He's so cool. He works with Dragon. He has Ace's fruit. Like, he has all these things that are so DeviantArt OC-esque that he has to be cool. He has to be that guy. He was even introduced, and Luffy sobbed and cried in an Enel face. And he's above Shanks, and we love Shanks. You know, Shanks is that guy,
bro, like,
right?
even Yamato was like I think like top 20 at that time.
Yamato is also a merch bait character. Let's keep it a billion. Yamato is definitely a merch bait character. But let's just be honest here. If there's characters like Odin, and who didn't like Odin when Odin was around? Odin's 24.
Bro, I
Oh.
just want
I look, hold
Bro,
on. If Whitebeard
Bro
was
hated Odin.
Whitebeard was like top
Hated
what
Odin.
top 35, like top 20. I don't know where Whitebeard was, but what I'm saying is like if we're
Whitebeard's
comparing
31, yeah.
Kuma to Whitebeard already, like by the end of the arc, man, I don't see a world where he's not top 10.
What?
Because it's because
Like, bro,
the thing
like,
is with some
Katakuri
characters
is, like,
in
top
One
15
Piece,
still, and bro, Corazon was like a top 15 at that time.
yeah, and Corazon
It's
like
just who people love
honestly
that-
has a very similar story to Kuma as well. Like in general, I think that there are a lot of stories in One Piece that like I can see some people being like, okay, but I don't like it for these reasons. There might be something off, just a little things here and there that some people I can see why they don't like a certain backstory. But I feel like with Kuma's, it is by far, in my opinion, the most objectively likable backstory in the story.
No,
in
but
general.
like, here's the thing. Nothing about Kuma's character is bad. I'm just literally talking about, I don't think he's going to get there because I don't think he's popular. That's what I'm saying. Kuma's awesome.
But I think
No,
he
I
might
think
be after
because
this
of his
arc.
backstory,
Like, after
he
this
will
arc,
be
he is.
popular.
I cannot
Because-
imagine. Chopper is 16 here. and Chopper is the merch character for One Piece.
Bro, he's
That's
beating
Exactly,
hard,
Chopper.
bro. He's
Which is
know
why
what I
I
mean?
don't think that merch in some case will like
I'll make a
hold
poll.
that much weight. Like in
okay,
general.
it holds weight for sure, but I think when you're talking about recency bias, I don't know a single person who doesn't love Kuma. And like Corazon, like Prince said it, like Corazon and Law, it's the way I see it is that Oda took that blueprint and just reused it, but made it 10 times better with Kuma and Bonnie.
I do agree. I do agree there. I think that there's been a lot of similarities in their flashbacks, Laws and
Even
Bonnie's.
Kiros as well. Kiros had a very similar story to Kuma. I think the
I
Reaver
agree.
pointed that out in one of his videos.
Yeah, I definitely agree there as well. But for like again, this is not shade to Kuma. Like I said, he's an amazing character, but I cannot see him being top 10.
I see what you're saying about him not being as popular as, you know, the Laws and all of them. But I think these recent events in the manga, bro, have put Kuma in a different,
I agree.
like
No,
a
but,
different
like,
space.
do you remember
Different
how much
realm.
people
I mean,
loved Yamato?
he's definitely not going to be
Yamato, bro.
98.
People love
Is
Yamato
that what he was
when she
before?
came out, like in Wano and everything, and like she was already cracking like top 15 just because people loved her
All right,
so
let
much.
let me keep it a billion, right? Strong, attractive, merch, Kaido's, child, like there's so much there, that there's all that building up to it, right? And let me keep it the most possible. People think the design is hot, and that's why Boa Hancock is number 7. That's all
I
I'm gonna
feel
say.
you. I'm
That
not
is
saying that's not true,
literally.
but what I'm saying
Oh,
is
okay.
like,
I
Dude.
agree with that.
There's
More
definitely
It's so
part of it.
it's so
I've
important.
seen the
Tat is 8,
oceanic polls.
is 7,
Okay, bro.
Yamato is 11. Like,
Bro,
bro,
if you
listen,
look at the
bro.
oceanic polls and see what characters they have on top, they are horny as hell. Like it is literally all like just
But I think
attractive
it's
One
definitely
Piece
a
women.
part of
That's
it for sure. But I'm saying like if Corazon is 2 spots away from Yamato, you don't think Kuma can do better than that? Like, bro, Kuma is way cooler
No,
than Corazon, bro.
No, he is. He is. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think he's cracking top 10. That's what I'm saying. I could see him being up above top 50. I could definitely see that. The rise will be high. But I think it's just very interesting that there are some characters like Garp who people love to death. You know what I mean? And he has never even come close to top 20.
Let me ask y'all this:
Like,
who will make it higher if we did a poll after Egghead, right? Bonnie or Kuma?
I think
I think Kuma.
Kuma for sure.
I think Kuma as well, but I think the reason why Bonnie like might get a tank, especially with the oceanic territory, is because of the fact that she's 12 years old.
What the?
Oh my god.
Yeah, which is people are gonna hate it. I know people will, which is crazy. But in general, in terms of better character, Kuma takes it.
I can see Bonnie being
Kuma
pretty high
takes
too,
it
bro.
in pretty much every aspect, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just,
Like
Actually,
pretty much
you-
literally every
Just,
aspect.
there's a lot of recency bias that goes into this, man. Like if you look at the list, I mean, you got Marco above Whitebeard, first of all. You got Dofi, you got
Disrespectful.
you got just a
Oh
lot
my
of
God.
characters that were hyped at that
Yeah.
time. Yamato, Katakuri, Corazon,
Why
True.
is that loser
Sabo.
even close to the top 10?
Kiri too. Like, I just think like I really think recency bias plays a big part in this, and Kuma is like the guy in this arc that everyone loves.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. Bonnie had no story to her whatsoever, and she was 85th, which is above Kuma and everyone.
Of Kuma.
That's
Of
crazy,
Yeah.
Kuma.
bro.
Well,
And
to be
you
fair, that's
absolutely nothing.
supernova tax do numbers. That's all I gotta say. That's supernova tax. If you're in there, boom, straight to the top 100. Like, look at a
That's
Rouge.
it. Legend.
Yeah, Cavendish is way too high, bro. What?
Do you think there will be a new Straw Hat by Egghead's end? Y'all
Bro.
think Bonnie will join the crew?
It
I
could
don't-
be
I don't
Bonnie.
think
To be
so.
fair.
Actually, to be fair, if Luffy hears about Bonnie's situation, like in terms of what happened to her, all the memories that she gained, and hears that story. Also, shout out to TJ, member for 3 months. Like the stream,
Thank you, big dog.
please like the stream. But also, like I was saying, if Luffy hears about Bonnie's situation, and also the fact that she knows about Sabo too, she has secret information on what Sabo is doing, then I definitely think that Luffy might just hear her out. And in the context of hearing her out, she gets on the ship, and then boom, who knows it? She's a temporary Straw Hat.
We got
Like,
hold
could
on.
very well happen.
We got 60
JJ.
people in here. Let's make sure we like the stream and share it out to as many
Sure.
people as possible.
Yes,
I
JJ,
didn't
you know I
interrupt
would if I
guys.
could.
You guys can go ahead. Continue.
Absolutely, absolutely.
What are you gonna say, Zane?
Oh, I was talking to JJ. He told me to post a certain pic of a certain fraud, but you really
Oh
can't.
my
Okay.
God.
I gotta let people know in the OPU canon thing. So Zane just does a great job of just mocking Marco any opportunity he can, and the main reason was because he has regenerative powers and just let his white bear compadre just die, hundreds of feet away when he could have flew to his aid. So
And bro
anytime
was
Zane brings
leaning
up
on a
Marco,
wall.
in his
Are we
b-boy
talking
stand,
about,
just posted up like.
I mean, to be fair, I kind of agree with this.
Bro was
kind of
leaning on the wall while Izo was getting clapped like 40 meters
Yeah.
away. Like,
Oh, that's a good. So Planet Birthday in the chat said, if Bonnie joins, will Yamato fans be in shambles? Who would you rather have?
Yes.
easily.
Who would you rather have on the crew, Bonnie or Yamato joined?
Bonnie is the
Uh,
better.
Bonnie.
From a
Bonnie,
Bonnie
strength
is the better
perspective,
choice.
I'd rather take Yamato. From a story perspective, I'd rather take Bonnie.
I'll be honest, bro. I
Garrett.
think I gotta go with Yamato.
I'm gonna
Yamato
be
is
so
just too
serious.
strong, bro. She's too
Because-
strong to be
I
on
know
the
she's
straw hat.
strong,
No,
but like,
I don't think strength is an issue. I just think that whatever she or they needed to achieve in the story was already done in Wano. In my opinion, other than the fact that they have their character progression as being Odin, we already saw that whole story of Odin being with Roger. We don't need a repeat with Luffy and Yamato.
And
So
she
I-
learned.
True.
She accepted.
We could definitely. I would definitely wouldn't mind seeing a repeat if between Yamato and Bonnie. I'm definitely taking Yamato just off the fact that she's or they's gonna literally have that Luffy exuberance every time they hit an island. They're foreign to everything that's of the world. So every time they go somewhere, Yamato gonna jump off the ship probably faster than Zoro and Sabaody and get themselves lost, and that'll be fun. But the dynamic with Bonnie, being the young girl, eating crazy with Luffy and Chopper, like we've already seen that. We've seen that in Whole Cake with Carrot. We ain't gotta. I don't really know if Bonnie brings anything new other than the protege that all great ships seem to have. But Yamato coming there just not knowing how the ship works, not knowing the dynamics of the crew, not knowing what to expect. All of that stuff I think would be much more fun.
I can
See,
agree
that's
with that.
actually the reason I don't want Yamato on the crew, because I think Yamato didn't have any interactions with the Straw Hats that were meaningful except Luffy, and they ran into Frankie, and that's it. Literally, there was no other interaction that felt like it had any heart to it, in my opinion. While Bonnie already has Frankie and Sanji willing to risk their lives to save her.
attacking a
That-
Gorosei member.
It is literally, it is
And-
that deep. It is
And not
literally
to
that
mention,
deep.
bro, Oda pretty much told us what Yamato was going to. Yamato accepted that she was the guardian of Wano. She has a guardian fruit of Wano.
Mhm.
She's there to protect Momo and Wano in general. I think she's going to stay with Momo in Wano and be their protector with Momo. Because
agree.
I don't care what anybody says, bro. Momo alone, even though he has a Kaido's fruit and Odin genes, Momo alone cannot protect the entire nation of Wano. They need strong fighters.
No, I agree with that. I'm just saying, who would you rather? Like, who do you like more? Who would you rather have? Like, who do you
Hey,
think?
think
shout out
Bonnie
to
is
Dak
a
talking
better-
about Vivi instead, saying if
I mean,
Vivi
to be
Peacock
fair- to
slashes
be
a
fair-
I don't want
single
Vivi to
Blackbeard
join, bro.
pirate, I quit. Bro, that is
What?
hilarious.
I don't want Vivi to join.
Nah. Vivi,
Why?
Vivi's a queen, bro. She needs to be in Alabasta.
See, the
Vivi
thing is,
a queen, and she needs to be the pirate queen.
I've
not
said this
shipping
time and
wise,
time
in my
again. I
opinion.
don't think Vivi will join, but if she ever sets foot on the Sunny, ever, like even like one little tap on the Sunny, she's a straw hat.
Well,
like,
Vivi's already.
there's
trash.
no-
You want
going
to talk
back
about
from it.
Bonnie being weak? I mean, Vivi is like a different level, bro.
I mean, every crew has
Hey,
their
who-
black sheep, and
Black
those black sheep pirates turn out to be the
Well,
goats. That's all I got.
The Straw Hats already have their weak pirate, and that's Usopp. That's not changing.
I love Vivi
Bro,
for what the story was.
Usopp Elbaf 2025, let it be known, is coming. All right,
Y'all think I'm gonna eat my words?
Yes,
Elbaf,
very much so.
last time I was on this stream, you guys were slandering Usopp.
That was
Slandering.
probably me.
Ridiculous.
That was probably me and Krow for real.
Yeah.
It's
To be honest
definitely
with
No,
you.
but I've been on the train since the jump that Usopp, he was lacking in Wano. I'm not gonna not address his faults. He was lacking, but that Elbaf comeback is about to hit like the
Elbaf
best thing in anime history. I'm telling
Oh
you.
yeah.
It's gonna hit
Oh,
like
yeah.
a slingshot, quite literally. Like it's gonna be nuts.
Literally.
Man, please get that slingshot out of his hands, bro. Give that
He
man,
needs a
give
gun.
that man
He
some
needs a
lead,
gun.
bro. Please.
He needs a gun.
All right, let me ask
I
you this:
was-
if Vivi gets Kuma's fruit, what is that like? How strong does she get just off that?
I'm gonna be
Well,
honest. I
Not strong at all.
hear this theory all the time, but I don't feel it. You know what I mean? Like
Nah,
I
I
hear
agree,
people
I
say
agree.
Vivi has to get the fruit. Does she? Like really?
I mean, I
like
think they're
I don't
saying
know. I
if
think
she
it'd be
joins, like I don't think she has to, but I'm saying if she joins, most likely she needs some kind of power boost, right? Like some kind of buff. So I can see where they're coming from. I agree though. I don't think she's going to get it.
yeah. Like
Give
I
it
think it
to
would be cooler
Frankie.
if Bonnie got the fruit, if anything, but she can't.
Dak.
honestly.
I was gonna say a comment Dak has in chat. Yamato has actual reasons to join the crew. Bonnie doesn't, in my opinion. Wanting to be with Nika or something is not enough. Plus, Luffy would dislike that her being her reason. In my opinion, I think that Bonnie will join temporarily, not as a Straw Hat, but just being on the ship, kind of like Vega Punk. And who knows, maybe the story goes how it does with things going on in Elbaf and stuff. But I think this next arc is going to be very important for Luffy, obviously with Elbaf, to like discover himself, discover what Sun God Nika actually means. Because I feel like if Bonnie just goes out and like tells Luffy, "Oh my God, you're Sun God Nika," he'll literally, even though he is Sun God Nika, he'll literally be like, "Who the hell is that? Like, who the hell is Sun
Yeah.
God Nika? I don't know anybody like that." And then he has to discover who he is himself in Elbaf. So I think that's going to be very important, and Bonnie's going to play a huge role in that because she's just a little kid who wants to meet Sun God Nika, and now that she has, she's going to play a huge role in Sun God Nika discovering himself.
Mm.
Sorry,
I-
I'm just laughing at chat. Like, bro, what is this a road shade in the chat, bro? I want a Roche
Yo,
to
no,
die.
Will Rouge.
I want a Roche to die.
Bro, Orochi is the most like irrelevant popular character I've ever seen.
Calm down, Prince. Calm down.
I mean, I'm
See,
gonna. Can
that's-
I keep it? I'm
that's
gonna
what I
keep it a
mean.
bill. I'm gonna keep it a billion. Do you remember the Law versus Blackbeard stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah.
When Burgess got the buff fruit, I literally thought Oda off screen killed Arouge and gave Burgess his fruit. I was like, I literally thought that for like minutes.
Why is that so
I've-
funny? That's
because,
actually
like,
hilarious.
because a lot of people were speculating Arouge working with Blackbeard, obviously, because
Yeah.
of what he said at Marineford. But I literally just thought, oh my god, he off screen killed Arouge. How crazy would that have been? Like, he's that irrelevant.
He's that irrelevant. That's actually hilarious. But he hasn't been
upset
doing
right now.
much. But that's why I feel like a lot of people are like, "Oh, he's coming back. He's coming back in the Elbaf arc, and he's gonna do crazy things," which I could see, like definitely. And I feel like Oda's not forgetting it. But for right now, bro has absolutely nothing going for him.
Yeah, like I'm very excited for what Oda does.
Sorry,
with Arouge,
Arouge fans.
'cause
But for
what
right
he's-
now, there's nothing. But we'll see something for sure.
Listen, I'm taking over this because the slander I'm just getting sick of. I'm going back to Bonnie, the conversation with Bonnie. In regards to Dak, I kind of disagree. Like, with Dak's guy and Prince guy too, Brooke, he doesn't have the most extreme dream. He just wants to see his peoples. And when we saw Kuma and Bonnie's origin story, she wants to travel the world. She was a young lady that was encaved into a church for 10 12 years and finally was able to be out and do different things. So being able to see the world with the future Pirate King is more than enough for me. And honestly, like, with her reading what was listed as the Bible, which could be like, maybe a story of the world that we don't know about, as she goes to different places, she could, almost be like a more willing Robin, given information of what she's read about all these, fantastical places that she's wanted to visit all her life. So I think, her following Nika, I think that's more than enough, because you know you got somebody that's read the story, you got somebody that was family with somebody who was trying to take out with people affiliated with Nika, and then you got just a young girl just being able to be under the cover of so many great people. That's basically leading on the next generation, so that when Luffy is gone, God forbid, you know, we'll have other, you know, a young lady that could look up a Nika-ish future to be able to show people that, you know, believing in your dreams and following your heart and, you know, chasing the dawn, all these positive things. She could literally just be the Luffy of the next generation, learning it from Luffy.
Makes sense.
Yo, I think
Yup.
it's funny,
Literally,
like you mentioned,
literally.
like Brooke's dream not being so crazy or anything. But then we also have Jinbei, which to this day I don't even know if he has a real dream.
I think his
just
dream
have to
is
be-
just to have equality between fishmen, and I feel like
Yeah.
Luffy like directly brings that. So
Yeah.
that's
like,
what I think.
To be fair, like Frankie's dream is already done.
Bro, that's
Yeah.
what,
Have
bro,
his
thank
ship
you,
sail
bro.
across the sea.
I always say
Frankie's
that,
dream
like,
is already done. Like, dude, and I completely agree with JJ. You were master chef. Like, you just cooked some Wagyu picanha in the call right here. You were absolutely chefing that shit up, because Bonnie's dream, like, she literally, it is delicious. She literally wanted to see the world her whole life, and she was kept away from it. And the only reason she was able to do so was through some mystery devil fruit that we still don't know how she got. And it's just like, it was like the most like Deus Ex Machina-esque thing possible that let her get away and let her actually see the world and see her dad and do all these things she actually wanted to do. And it just was like by chance in a way. Like, it could have been anything. And her being able to be free, like actually free, the government isn't going to be able to go after her or torture her dad or anything, is really powerful. You know what I mean? Especially because now that we know she's like literally a little kid, she's really not able to do a bunch of stuff. She also has like no crew at this point because we don't know where they are. So I don't know. I really think her joining the crew would be cool. Obviously, I was not 100% on this. This was before the flashback. Last time I talked about crewmate stuff, you know. But I'm really down for Bonnie to join the crew. I don't know. I really like her as a character, and I think she has so much potential. Really cool ability, and a lot of baggage. Obviously, we just saw her flashback, so we're already. And let's be for real, Bonnie's flashback clears the fuck out of Yamato's, because oh my god. I don't know. I just think that Bonnie was really, really good, and we've already known Bonnie for such a long time that we've been invested in this character for like what 500 plus 600 plus chapters. Like, I don't know, I think it's a pretty like I was gonna do some like sports analogy, but I can't think of any words off the top of my head. Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know.
I feel like Yamato's backstory is very underrated. I think it's.
I mean,
I
she
would
did meet
argue,
Zoro's uncle. That means a lot.
like, I would argue Yamato is one of the best written female characters in One Piece.
Ooh.
Oh no, I don't know. I think Yamato's kind of a Mary Sue. That's how I feel about it. No flaws really, and I think that's kind of annoying.
I mean, that's fair, yeah. But I like
See,
the whole theme of her character with like tying into One Piece with like inheriting the will of the samurai and fully embodying that, going
Oh,
against,
that was cool.
like going against what Kaido was trying to force her to be, and that whole story that we got with like, even we saw just how dedicated she was, even in the end to Wano, and how much she like truly cared. Where like, oh, with Kaido, he's just like kind of coming in and he
Taking it
has a
over.
different view of it. He's like, the samurai are weak if they can't stop me. So I like Yamato's character, like, because when people they complain that she wants to be like Odin, but I can see it, because it's like, if you were a kid, you hate Kaido, and then like he's the one guy that he respects, and then like he dies the way he does, and you see it, I could see why Yamato has so much love for Odin. Like, it all makes sense.
I
me.
think I definitely think Yamato is kind of on their own, but I think the duality with Yamato and Momonosuke is interesting, because Yamato is Kaido's child, but they inherited Odin's will, and Momo is Odin's kid, but technically, because of the devil fruit, they kind of inherited Kaido's will. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Because they have the same ability. And I think that duality is really cool. And that's why I think let's say if Momo was to join the Straw Hats, that's what I thought was the most likely option. It would have been fine if Yamato joined along with Momo, kind of as a retainer, um, like Kinemon was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But them both being in the same place, I just think is for the better. You know what I mean? Because I think that connection they have is interesting,
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
can see that.
especially because in the raid they were working together, obviously a lot.
No, it is cool like seeing like two generations. You got the Kozuki and then Kaido. Like they're both holding it down for Wano at the same time. That's a really cool way to end Wano, in my opinion.
Nah, for sure. Because then it also like helps cover a lot of ground in terms of what they're exactly gonna do. And to top it all off, I feel like the way Luffy handled the situation was perfect because he handled it exactly how he did in Fishman Island, which was all right. If you guys really are so scared about it, we'll make the answer be both. Whenever you join the ship, you are a straw hat. And if you guys want extra protection, so be it. Put my flag up on the damn castle. This place is now mine. I mean,
That scene was so amazing.
yeah.
Such an
So
amazing scene.
the fact that like Oda addressed the fact that there's two situations and problems that are really, really bothering Wano and Momonosuke in general, with both protection and wanting to also join the Straw Hats, Luffy just said, "Why not both?" And it's pretty much the exact same thing he said to Shirahoshi and in Fishman Island as well.
Now Kinemon could have joined the crew though. Kinemon could have.
My God.
That's my guy. I'm with
Especially
it.
his
I
legs.
love Kinemon.
His legs for sure.
I love Kinemon. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, shout outs to the anime. Because if I did not watch the One Piece anime, I would not like Kinemon nearly as much. Because his voice is so good. Something about it,
Yeah.
you know? It's just he's got that weird like inflection thing going on. It's so funny. I don't know. I love Kinemon. He's fun. But then when Zoro learned his tech, I'm like, oh, it's over.
Uh-oh.
It's over.
Yeah.
Zoro
He
ruined
had
it
a tech,
again.
but
I
Zoro
feel-
Can't
ruined it.
believe it.
Oh, it's
Can't
always
believe
got to
it.
be Zoro, huh?
It's always got to be Zoro. We can't have the Foxfire stuff. We got the Zoro's gonna learn Brook's Soul Solid technique next.
Yeah, let's
Bro.
get, all right, so let's get the
Zoro's
likes
basically
up.
just Luffy but a swordsman. He just copies whatever he sees.
Let's try to get the likes up to. We got 44 right now. Let's try to get to 50, and then. So I want to go back. I don't think we talked about it too much, but So what are your predictions for the final fights of Egghead? How do you think things are going to play out? Do you think someone like Dragon will show up? Another party will show up? What is Luffy going to do? Who is he going to fight? Like, what do you guys think is going to happen?
I think if for another party were to show up, it's got to be Blackbeard. And in terms of, in general, what's going on in the story and matchups, I think the real main matchup that we got to worry about is Kizaru. I don't think there's anybody more threatening on the island other than Kizaru, and that's why it's really interesting to see his story and see his progression of will he turn, will he not turn, will he go with his emotions as he fights with Luffy, or will he just drop him and continue to be a cog in the machine? I think that's really one of the most important things when it comes to matchups and fighting in Egghead right now. But I'm also curious to see the whole ancient robot thing and what's going on there.
I just had a thought actually, because of the phrasing, you know, because I think it's a very specific phrase that they used, probably intentionally, cog in the machine, and obviously Kuma, literally a man turned into a machine, was willing to overcome that stuff and do his own thing.
Yeah,
Maybe that's
override
what
his order.
Kizaru. Yeah, maybe that's what Kizaru is kind of building up to be, like a parallel to that.
Or at least
Never really
he's
thought
hoping
about
to
it like
be,
that.
hoping to have enough
Oh, true.
strength and courage to do so.
Yeah,
Can
and the
someone
connection he
mod
had with
Kev,
Kuma
please?
too.
I think Preach got it.
I think
Preach us, shout out.
the what's it called? The
Yeah, I
one
got
thing
a
that
lot
I
too.
think we gotta look out for is this whole like Blackbeard thing. That's the one thing I think is the wild card left, because I don't think we could plan any matchups until we know who's showing up exactly. Because obviously we know some of the Blackbeard members are busy, but we don't know who's coming at the same time. Like a lot of people are speculating, like Katarina could be already on the island. Luffy could be on the island. You know, Luffy to Satori, you guys know. Like I don't know. I think that's the one thing that's making it hard to think of the matchups. But are they even gonna fight? Or is Blackbeard's crew gonna do some sneaky stuff at the end? You know, that could easily be a thing as well. So
Another thing that makes it tough for me when I think of the matchups is, you know, for all y'all anime people, you know, we got y'all girl Doll last week, you know, and we know that she just pulled up with all the vice admirals. They got 10 vice admirals up there, correct?
Yeah.
And like they haven't really done anything other than beat up some Sea Kings. So I mean, I'm really intrigued to see how they play a part in everything. I really think them getting off this island is going to be really tough. I haven't really been big on the dragon stuff coming into here, but like when I'm looking at everything finally amounting to the point where Saturn just like, yo, let's just destroy it all. Somebody got to come help these boys. I don't know who the final thing is going to be. I just know Frankie got to get his lick back at least one time. Armament Hockey Frankie is coming, and I just need to see them vice admirals put in some work for real. I don't even know who they're going to fight, but at least show something. At least show something.
Yeah, no, that doll in the anime. I mean, I've seen Twitter going crazy over it, man.
Shoot, everybody is, but in general, with the Blackbeard pirates coming in, it could be literally anybody. But I feel like there's definitely use of just a lot of unpredictability when it comes to Blackbeard. So we really don't know what's going to happen on Egghead right now, other than the fact that they got to escape. But I did have I was thinking about it for a little bit of time, and it's very interesting the fact that we've seen it time and time again, them mentioning Vega Punk, especially Kuma in Thriller Bark, mentioning that he's 500 years ahead of his time. And I wanted to know what you guys thought about that. Now that we know he's using the ancient kingdom's like knowledge and trying to learn about it, is he really 5 years ahead of his time, or is he 500 years like into learning about the future? Like he's 5/8 out of like he's learned 500 years out of the 800 years like of like previous history and stuff like that, to the point where he knows more knowledge. Like he's halfway done in learning about the Void Century. What do you guys think?
I think it makes sense that that Kuma was created by a certain ancient kingdom inspiration. Just knowing how Vegapunk works, like with Momo's dragon fruit, it was inspired by something with a lot of the technology they have. He even said they were inspired by the past and what he researched. So it makes sense like that Kuma has some part of that. I mean, I've speculated that the ancient robot will also be connected to Kuma in some way. So, I mean, it can go a lot of ways. I think it is definitely a part of how he was created, for sure.
I just really think that it's interesting, the wording of the ancient kingdom. It's always 800 years, and then out of nowhere we see Vegapunk being said that he's 500 years like into the future, and we've been speculating that the future could also the past could be more advanced than the future is right now.
And the way I saw it, it was just a reference to Egghead in my mind, because that's what Egghead is called, right? So if he was created in Egghead, and that island is called like the year that's 500 years advanced or something, like, so that's kind of how I saw it.
That also doesn't make sense. All right, let's see what chat's saying. Oh, Dak, the government has 3 goals, and I think those goals will be split amongst the Straw Hats, Blackbeard pirates, and the government. Stella to Straw Hats, York to Blackbeard, and the power source to the world government. Ah, that's true. They had the power source or whatever for the Mother Flame to keep that intact. They had to kill Vegapunk, and they had to what was it? I think there's one more thing, or was it just those 2 goals? I forgot. You guys would know more. Kev, do you know? Or
what was the part? Sorry,
I know I'm the reference guy, but I'm blanking here. The 2 goals that Saturn had for storming Egghead, or 3 goals.
One of them was the laboratory, right? They wanted to get back the energy.
Keep the laboratory intact.
The energy cell. What was it called? The Mother Flame thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And well, they said they're destroying Egghead, so I wonder if they're gonna keep, if they're still trying to get that laboratory intact. The other thing was, I think, to kill Vegapunk.
Was it not just to kill Vegapunk? Yeah.
Yeah, and then
that's what Lucci was saying. The third
one
was
something about the Poneglyph because they wanted to. Vega Punk was researching the Poneglyph, so they were trying to like destroy a lot of the research that he made. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
If that's the case, then Robin is playing a huge part right now in saving that research.
So my theory right now is that there's actually a Poneglyph at Egghead that we haven't seen yet. That because I mean Vega Punk said that, so they finally found out that we were researching Poneglyphs or whatever, and I forgot what chapter. It was the chapter when I think when he met up and got caught in that room, and then so I was thinking like we haven't seen it yet. It would be crazy if Vega Punk actually had a Poneglyph and Robin was either researching it at some point off screen or maybe we'll see it still. But I mean, to me, it's like it also makes another question: do you think that Vega Punk can read the Poneglyphs? And I think he could because I mean we know he was studying the same information that they had at O'Hara, that Clover was able to learn and Robin was able to learn. So I feel like there's still a lot more with the Poneglyph that we haven't even really touched on. That could even be where Blackbeard comes in, where he's like, yeah, I need to get access to this and this information. So, I mean,
that does make a lot of sense.
I haven't really seen people talk about that, but I think there's definitely something involved with the Poneglyph.
See, also, I think that Luffy also stumbles unironically on the most important path when it comes to like figuring out stuff and figuring out like clues to leading to the One Piece. So I think it'd be very funny if that Poneglyph like has something that the man marked by flames knows already, and in order to get well ahead in the whole story, he already knows what Law and Kid need to know, which they are trying to like know by finding the man marked by flames.
Yeah, and Dak in the chat, he said to save York was the third thing.
To save York, okay.
Yeah.
To make her a celestial dragon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. All right.
Sark is so crazy.
Blackbeard coming up with York. Blackbeard coming off with York.
But what do you guys? Do you guys agree though? Do you guys also agree? Besides Prince, that there's a Poneglyph on Egghead. Do you think Vega Punk could read it, or what do you guys think?
I don't think there's a Poneglyph because I don't think we got enough time to really explore that. I feel like for the most part, everything, we've already been through the part of Egghead where they gave us the scope of everything that's going on in all the other particular rooms. I don't think there's anything else that they're hiding, especially with the Straw Hats' main focus being to evacuate right now. But I mean, like you said, the O'Hara makes it obvious, and for Vega Punk to be the man with all the knowledge and still not be able to read particular things at the same time, that doesn't work for me. So the world government wants to take him out because they're uncomfortable with him doing research on things that they don't like. The main thing in my eyes would be the Poneglyph. So it all ties into me.
No, you know what, you said that and like that made me realize like it could just be that like how you said, like instead of there being actual Poneglyph, the Poneglyph research that he said was just him learning how to read them. So I mean, that could be the case
and
too.
What? So like, there's a lot of Poneglyphs all throughout the world. We know Clover wasn't a pirate, but he was a man that explored all throughout the world to get this information. Maybe he's accumulated a lot of Poneglyphs, had them on O'Hara, and then once Vega Punk went back there to get it, he was able to get that information and bring it back to Punk Records. When if daggone Vega Punk got all the Poneglyph information outside of the red Poneglyphs? That would be interesting.
I agree. I think maybe that's why they showed all the books, in the underneath the tree. That was like a huge thing that focused on. And the giants, it was the giants from Elbaf. They came, took the books, gave them to Saul. And in Vegapunk, we saw him talking with Saul in that one flashback. Not like a flashback, but like a panel, So what I'm trying to think, well, not trying, starting to think of is, what if Vegapunk is creating like some kind of machine that allows everyone to read the Poneglyphs? Like they just kind of, I don't know how to fully describe it, because like it's not Translate. Just going to be like a, like Google Translate. Like it's not going to be a book, but you know what I mean? Something like that.
I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking. That's kind of what I'm thinking is going to be the big Egghead incident. Like, to go back to a question you asked a while back about, do you just think this punch could just be included as an Egghead incident? The way that they kind of framed it in this chapter. Oh, a slave punching a Gorosei is unprecedented. You can actually see it like that, but I really think like Vegapunk has had a real big impact in the world, and I think he's revered as being, you know, a very positive person. I wouldn't be surprised if them same Denden Mushis that probably got visuals are showing the world like, yo, even Vegapunk's not above getting attacked from the government. And that would be something that'll give people that was on the fence about revolting actually willing to take that step to fight the world government. Because if you're willing to fight the one man that helps out a frozen island from, you know, getting heat and stuff like that, and that kind of like Vegapunk helped the town that Frankie went by like giving them like different types of heat and stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
Am I misremembering?
Bro, he literally created light in the One Piece world. Like that is.
That's
crazy.
what I'm saying. Like, you know, when you literally got this man that's literally benefiting the world to the point where even the top people want to meet him, I'm pretty sure his name is pretty strong throughout. So yeah, other than Big News Morgan, you know, painting that picture about Luffy, he could paint that picture. But if we actually see, just like we saw Marineford, the action that's going on, and them willing to attack the man that's willing to look out for us, what makes us think we're not the next targets? We got to do something about this world government. They just taking out anybody that's not with.
No, that's fire, because like we know now with what was it, with Morgan's, right? Depending on how Morgan's frames it, if the government had full control over the narrative, they would make it a conspiracy where like if no one knew what happened, they just say Vegapunk died in some way. But like now that Morgan's is involved and we know he has information, like he could really make it where it's like how you said, the government going against Vegapunk, and I agree with that. Like if they found out that he did that, like just knowing how the world is, they already have suspicions with the world government. They already have some problems with them. Vegapunk,
I mean, a spy would try to off him, so I'm pretty sure
so
Morgan's has feelings about that for sure.
Yeah, exactly. CP0 trying to kill him. That's so interesting, and it would be a great, because you know how Oda is, the inversions. Like this is such a Oda thing to do as well. That's awesome. I really like that idea.
Yeah, that's a good point, JJ. Like Vegapunk is definitely the key, and it's kind of funny too because I think we saw in the flashback with Dragon, right? Like he's telling Dragon like, don't lose sight of the bigger picture. We still have the same end goal, just going about it a different way. Vegapunk's influence might actually end up helping the revolutionaries, even though he didn't even join them. Like Dragon wanted him to join, but he still ended up helping even without joining. So I do kind of like that, because I feel like Vegapunk, he said like he went to use the money, to use the funding, but in the end he's still gonna pay back Dragon and help him in some way.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, are you guys ready to wrap it up?
Yeah.
All right, so
well, let's ask any questions to chat first. Chat, like, is there anything you guys want to address in the chapter? Any type of theories? Could be anything related to.
How we feeling about Egghead anime so far? How we feeling about Egghead anime?
Also the design for Lilith. We thought she was gonna be green with green hair, but turns out she's a ginger. So
yeah, we'll talk with.
What do you guys think about that?
For a little bit right here.
I do want to say before we didn't really bring it up, but the Bonnie speech to Kuma, so good.
Beautiful.
So good. I when I was streaming earlier, it was the first time I ever listened, because usually I play like some music in the background or whatever, and I usually have it like so I can hear the music. This is the first time I was like, let me not, because I assume I'm gonna be like emotional anyway, because I was like, all right, Kuma could just die like here right now, so it could be crazy, you know. And then because I didn't listen to the music, I was really getting like super invested, and that speech was so great, so great.
Like I said, I literally see that as she doesn't even know it yet, but she really just said goodbye to her father. Like, hey, I appreciate everything. You came to my time of need, and you did everything that you said you would. So that right there is literally, she said goodbye in my eyes. I don't know if she'll ever be able to talk to Kuma again after this one.
So they said in the chat, what do you think happened into the egg? I think Vegapunk will give the Straw Hats a mini Egghead egg as a parallel to Roger's ship egg. So I mean, that could be I mean, I've seen that where it's like the egg that Roger had would be at Egghead. I think Moore's made a theory about that. I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah, I've seen that before. I really do wonder what that egg was. I think everybody has a different theory. I've seen ancient weapons. I've seen, a lot of different stuff. You guys have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, that'd be fun. It would be kind of like, I guess, like a computer for the Straw Hats to like look at and like have a kind of database thing. I think that would be pretty cool.
Ooh, also speaking of computer, well, it's kind of loosely tied, but in the lines of in general technology, I was just thinking about this the other day. There's no, other than Toki's like fruit, obviously, there's no conception of time in One Piece. And I was thinking about it how even in like olden days and stuff, we didn't really have clocks, like concepts of time, and the only way we could tell time was the sun and the dawn. So I was reading about it that like pirates, in order to like actually get up and seize a new day, they would just like wait for the sun. Whenever like dawn would break, the sun would show up. That's when a new day, a new adventure would rise. So I know it's like side tangent, but I thought it was interesting. Like just in general, how like pretty much the concept of time is also related to the sun, dawn, and possibly sun god Nika. Could also make sense for Toki's fruit as well.
It says, since Buccaneers have blood of giants, does that mean giants have whatever special ability Vega Punk thinks they have?
Ooh, I think that Vega Punk knows a lot more about the Buccaneers and the ancient kingdom's history than he's letting off, obviously. But I think that's just Oda trying to save it for the big reveal in Elbaf, like of all the Void Century stuff.
I mean, he did work on Kuma's body, so he definitely knows some stuff about the Buccaneers.
Yeah,
I'm sure
character
that.
traits, like even more information probably backed up from his Void Century research and also like testing and stuff on Kuma. So he probably knows a lot,
All right.
just more than he's letting off.
What race do we think Vega Punk is? I'm thinking a human, right? I'm assuming.
I think just human with the brain fruit, right?
That's what I think
man.
too, but...
You don't remember those people from the moon in that NL cover story with the elongated heads?
Yep.
Very true.
That could be.
Or could they just be
the case.
enlightened beings?
Imagine he's literally an alien. That would be so crazy. If that's like what it leads to.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I could see it for sure.
Because a lot of
the whole sci-fi theme and everything going on, like I could definitely see it.
Oh yeah, and a lot of people were joking the long tongue tribe, but I think having him either just be a weird looking human or an alien would be way funnier.
Well,
And
to be
that
fair,
could also, you could go, Prince.
Oh, I was gonna say the huge tongue thing in like was, to be fair, a reference to Albert Einstein, or like his.
Oh no, I know.
Yeah.
But people are trolling. I do think it would be a fun way, like, say he is confirmed an alien, and there's just like all the weird looking humans we think of, like for example, like Wanzi from Water 7, like what a weird looking thing, or like I don't know, just all them could maybe be recontextualized with like, oh, they're just aliens, that'd be fun.
Would make a lot of like theorists or just in general people like mauled and be like, but it's supposed to be something crazy. It's supposed to be like, well, it would be funny if it just out of nowhere is, I'm an alien. It just makes a lot of sense as to why he has some very weirdest traits and also like complex nature, I'd say. But it'd be interesting for sure.
I mean, Doran Ross, he said in the chat, I want to see Vega Punk space pirates. And it was, so wasn't it also like they I think it was the Automata was created by Vega Punk and that other guy, right? The other scientist.
Was it Judge or
no? It
was Caesar?
It was someone in like a cover
Talk
story.
back.
Yeah, Tsukimi in the cover story.
Yeah, I mean, like, so if there is something with like space involved with the ancient kingdom, I mean the sun, right? Like we got like the Gorosei, different planets and stuff. I could see it being a thing where,
I think space is definitely a huge factor in this story. It's just I feel like it's gonna be like a giga brain moment that's yet to be explored, and could be that Elbaf with the giant tree, it's so tall that it just reaches into space. That would be cool.
I completely agree with that, Prince. That's one of my biggest things for Elbaf, and This is actually kind of going off that. I think that all devil fruits came from that tree on Elbaf, but because it went into space, and obviously there's no oxygen in space, the fruits stopped growing, and that's why there's no new devil fruits.
See, so I'm making a video on trees in One Piece, the sunlight tree, the Eve or the Adam tree, and everything. And for me, I think the devil fruits came from the tree of Ohara, the tree of knowledge, because in the Bible it's called the forbidden fruit is from the tree of knowledge. And I think because they have so much information, right? So there were scientists there that were studying the information, and they spawned the first devil fruits on that tree because it comes from a tree. So it's like, well, we're already researching inside the tree, we might as well just use it. And so that's when the first devil fruits was created. That's what I think.
Shiny Charizard in chat. Did the Enel cover story ruin the space thing being a surprise if One Piece goes in that direction? I'd say no, solely because of the fact that Oda is known for being a foreshadowing god, and Dak said it just in chat himself. So, like, I think that it would be a win-win for Oda, even like if like the space thing gets dropped, because for one, we could get a possibility of Enel coming back, and with also references of him being a lightning god, him having a move literally named after Thor, and just stuff like that. Plus the foreshadowing of things possibly being in space. Like it would be a win for Oda, like more so for that cover story because of many of the possibilities that it brings, rather than it being like a spoiled surprise that like, oh,
And
it was
I would
supposed to be
even
a surprise
say
that we're going to
foreshadowing in such a subtle way, because a lot of people don't even read the cover story. They don't really pay too much attention to it. I mean, the anime, we don't even see it, so it's like I don't think it's really spoiling it. It's just if you really look into because you gotta realize, like, a lot of people in One Piece, they're not hardcore fans looking this deep into every little detail. So I think it's like more rewarding to the people that really want to dive into the details and like come with theories. And if it's just foreshadowing something to the Ancient Kingdom, I don't see it as a spoiler. I just see it as another foreshadowing.
Makes sense.
Yeah, especially with the cover story thing.
I just look at it as fun. Like, when my first time going through One Piece, you see Clover in the O'Hara flashback, and then they got like the diagram of the whole universe. A guy like me, I'm not really paying attention to that. But then once you start hearing about the Enel cover story, and you see like the difference between their universe and ours, it's like, yo, they may be able to take this story anywhere. Like it just makes it more fun, and it allows the theorists to get their theory on and just have more things to pull from. Like, yo, that's never a bad thing. The more possibilities, the better the story.
It reminds me with my friend. Like, I have a friend and I want him to watch One Piece. And he's like, no, man, I think I'm finally going to get into One Piece. And like, I think because in the beginning it seems so goofy and childish, and it's like, it's not for me, for some people. But then I think you gotta know what people like. And for this guy specifically, I'm like, bro, like, it's a story about pirates and chasing your dreams. It's like, who doesn't love that? But on top of everything, it's a global conspiracy that comes in like 300 chapters later. So, and he's like, whoa, I didn't even know about that. Like, I never heard about that. So, well, I think you got to see what certain people like. And in my mind, it's not spoiling him. It's just like getting him more intrigued to what he wants to see. So, I mean, people like different things in One Piece, man. Like, there's just so much for everybody. You just got, like, some people don't even care about like little details, and that's fine. But it's like, some people really do, and if you tell them like the world building is so detailed, there's like little details that you can come up with theories. Some people like that stuff, so it's like you gotta realize that people like it for different things.
That's what I think makes One Piece so just amazing. The world building is great in itself, but because each place is so different, you can almost hook people in with one single arc. Like, let's say if someone, like, here's a hypothetical. Let's say they love horror series, like they love that. You can just be like, look at Thriller Bark, and they just show any like pictures, and they'll be like, oh, this looks awesome. Or like, say they like samurai stuff like Vagabond or whatever. Show anything of Wano. You know what I mean? You could entice people so easily with One Piece, and just the amount of things that are in there. And then you could be like, oh yeah, that's just one of the many places they go to on the journey, and it's so cool.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. So we'll do outros, and then So we'll start out with Kev. You got anything to promote? You got any new theories? Any new videos coming out? I know you've been doing Adventure Time as well, bro. I seen a lot of big videos coming from that series. So congrats on that, man, and keep doing your thing, bro.
Thank you. The brain rot just hit different, you know. It hit different, so I had to talk about it as well. But in terms of One Piece, I did not mention it throughout this. At least I don't think I did. But it was in regards to Kuma and the hockey and all that from earlier. There's been a theory I've had for quite a bit about how I think Sindri from Thriller Bark can kind of tie into what Kuma's gonna do, and I think it pretty much happened this chapter with him still having that will, even though now he's considered dead, especially with the hockey as well. So I'm probably gonna do a video on that, like no joke, within the next few days. It's not gonna be the most like crazy edited thing ever because Toei just destroys any videos, and that's just frustrating. But I still want to talk about it, so look forward to that. But yeah, channel in the description and whatever.
Oh yeah, we got them linked in the description. But I want to ask, like, because I remember watching Adventure Time when I was young, but I didn't get too much into it. So like, you think it's worth watching it even now?
Oh, it's a top one, bro. It's a top one. Dang, that's all I gotta say.
Adventure Time is dope. In terms of Cartoon Network shows, for me, it's always been regular show, dope. Adventure Time, dope. And then Amazing World of Gumball. Those three.
Yeah,
solid trio.
I'm gonna check it out, and then I'm gonna go watch some of your videos, man.
Thank you, because you could tell the passion is real. You could tell, like, it's so good, and I think that show has a really good use of world building as well. Like, people could just drop something crazy out of nowhere, and you just got to remember it, especially with history. That show does a lot better history stuff, in my opinion, than like location stuff. It's such a fun time. Such a fun time.
All right, bet. JJ, you got anything to promote? Anything you want to say?
Oh, none to promote. Just, John Sherrod, all social media. If I recall, I feel like Kev the OG was our first guest on OPU when we got started. So I love to just see the full circle coming back around. We appreciate you coming through. Shout out to Krow and Zane, and can't wait for. I'm so glad we ain't got to do a break. We get to talk some more One Piece next week. Come check us out. OPU, we do what we do.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Kev was definitely one of the first. I don't know if he was the first one, but he was definitely one of them for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I was the first one, that's kind of nuts, to be honest. That's kind of nuts. That's the growth, That's the growth.
But yeah, man, we'll be having you back on eventually, man. Like, we gotta always keep a rotation, but it's always good to have Kev because, like I said, I met him before, and he's a really chill dude, man. Like, this dude, like, bro, all I could think about is Chestnut and Hidden Island just going crazy, getting drunk, and me and Kevin just having a chill conversation on the side. So it's like, it was just funny.
Yeah, we were saying like our top 5 all time.
Yeah, top 5 rappers. It was like, bro, like. But yeah, man, he's a cool
I need that list. Sure. I need that list.
I can give you mine. Hold up. Okay. So this is not ordered, right? Yeah. We got Andre 3000, one of the GOATs, no doubt. Quality. We got Kendrick Lamar, one of the GOATs, Quality. We got Lil Wayne, one of the GOATs, I'm gonna keep saying one of the GOATs because they're all GOATs. And then it gets like shaky, I'm gonna be honest, because I feel like those 3 are like my solid 3, and then it gets kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like a rotation in a way. And then I have Biggie, and then I hate this, and then I'm gonna put Nas. I really like Nas as well, so that's my top 5 right now.
Y'all want to hear mine?
Yeah, I want to hear. Okay,
absolutely.
So we'll do everybody, and then I want to see Chad as well.
Ooh, okay.
Nah, JJ go first. I want to hear JJ's.
Jay-Z.
Listen, Jay-Z, Sean Carter, Hove, like, listen.
HOVA.
Kev hit. Listen, Biggie, Jay-Z, and Nas. Jay-Z told y'all that 20 years ago who to follow. That's easy. Yo, I'm different. Like, Jadakiss is my guy. Like, I could throw in some Jadakiss.
Philly
all
represent.
the time,
Philly represent. Love that.
Jada's fire
and
for
then
sure.
dang. Man, let me just be a little different. Just to the South some love. I'm throwing Ti in my top 5. I love Ti, man. I love Ti.
Nah, T.I.'s fire, bro. All right, so go ahead, Zane.
All right, y'all ready?
Bro, I swear to God, if I see Playboy Cardi on this list, bro.
Playboy, Cardi, Young Boy.
Nah,
Young Boy in the top 5 is disgraceful. That's disgraceful.
Never, bro. So I got Wayne, I got Drake, I got Nas, and y'all ain't gonna fuck with these. Oh, my bad. I mean to cuss. Y'all ain't gonna mess with these last two.
All right.
Thug and Future.
No, that's actually respectable.
Listen, bro,
though.
I'm just
I
happy.
respect
No
Dude,
Playboy
Future
Cardi, bro.
respectable.
That's all I'm worried
Yo,
about.
Cardi is above top 5. He's like number 0.
Number 0. He's in CP0, bro.
That's crazy. All right, so I think for mine,
Bigger than rap.
I go Wayne, I go Pac. Listen, bro. After this, it gets crazy. I got Lil Baby. I got Kanye, and then I got The Game. Which
I
is
remember The Game
crazy,
so
like,
vividly. I was just like, what?
Yeah, I know. Listen, bro, I got roasted in that for OPU, man. Like Krow and JJ never let it go, but it is what it is, bro. I grew up listening to it, so it's just it is what it is.
I respect Zane. You put Drake, and Preach, you put Kanye. I respect those picks, but for me, it's like I don't know. I don't really go to listen to them for rap, so that's why it's like. Well, I obviously do listen to them for rap, but they do like more than that. You know what I mean?
No,
And I feel
yeah.
sometimes like,
Yeah.
can I have Andre on mine because I really like his singing songs? So it's a bit like I don't know.
Yeah, he's hard to rank for me. I know a lot of people got him like even top 1, but it's like for me it's tough with Andre.
Andre is one of them ones for real. Let's go, Prince.
All right, so I feel like mine's a bit more basic for sure, but it is what it is. No particular order, but I got Drake, old Drake specifically, J. Cole, Kendrick. I do like Eminem, but I'm not gonna put him up there. But like he's like an honorable mention. I saw someone in chat talk about it. Eminem is good, but like he's not top 5.
He's
In
like
my
I don't know.
Top 10,
Marshall ain't making the top 5.
He's not even top 10, bro. Let's be
nah,
real.
he make top 10 low key. But
He had some
let's
good
see.
albums back in the day.
I do like Lil Wayne. Did I say that? Okay. Wait.
I think you said
Drake?
Cole, Drake.
Yeah, Cole, Drake, Kendrick for sure. Those are 3. Lil Wayne, and then I'm deciding between either Future or Travis. I do like
Either
Travis,
way.
but
Either
it's
way.
one of those 2. Either one. A bit more basic,
I feel like
That's
Cole, Drake, and Kendrick is the monster trio.
but yes,
I don't know.
Yes, sir. Yes,
for
sir.
me,
feel
like
that.
4th and 5th could vary, but with Wayne, Travis, and Future, but those 3 are cemented for me. Drake, Kendrick, and J. Cole for sure.
I'm so sorry if I get this name wrong.
Drake doesn't even write his own lyrics. I'm sure he doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm not
sure
gonna
he
lie,
does.
bro. I see some crazy lists in chat, bro.
I'm gonna be honest, Sway, you know I love you, bro, but Coach Ice, and I like Coach Ice, but like top 5 Coach Ice. Like, come on, bro.
Listen, bro. Some people just like it's like me with like Lil Baby, bro. I just like what I like, and you gotta show respect in the top 5.
No, but like the rest of those 4 are like have so much more of a catalog, and then Coach Ice, I think he has like 1 album. It's just like how? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
That's actually kind of funny.
Lil Baby has so many albums.
Hey, I want everybody in here to go listen to somebody named V's. Go listen to him. An album called
Yes, sir.
Ganger.
Yes, sir.
How do you spell it?
VEEZE.
VEEZ.
ZE.
All right, bet I'll check it out.
Oh, what?
And the album's called Ganger. It's a banger album.
I just found it. I'll listen to that later.
All right, so I see a lot of
What Playboy
Drake,
should I
see a
bump?
lot of-
You said what?
I need a Playboy to bump this weekend, man. Whole lot of red.
Nah, I play Die Lit.
No. All right, hear me out. Sky off Whole Lot of Red, such a banger.
Bro, I don't care what nobody says, bro. Whole Lot of Red is fire, bro.
I think
It's
I'm more of a
fire,
Die Lit guy, to be honest. I'm more of a Die Lit guy. but
JJ,
Whole Lot of
listen to
Red
Die Lit.
has songs. It has songs.
Bro,
Like
somebody said.
long time, one of the best intros ever.
No,
of the
Chad
best
is
intros
trolling,
ever.
bro. I see. He said Rascal Flats.
Rascal.
Quality.
Is that the Life is a Highway guy?
It's like a country band, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that Life is a Highway? Oh my god. Pusha T, goated. Love Push.
He cool.
All right, Zane, you want to do your outro and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, you can catch me on Twitter at Father Zane with 2 Z's. Appreciate y'all for coming out. Y'all were live in the chat again. Had a high viewer count. Y'all are real for coming out and supporting us. Appreciate you, Kev, for coming back out. It's always good having you, brother. And yeah, man. It was a good stream, beautiful chapter, and we'll be back next week for y'all. So y'all come back, tell your friends, tell your mama, tell your auntie, tell your uncle, tell your son, tell your daughter,
Make sure you
tell everybody.
like the stream, share it around. Prince, you got anything last to say?
Man, Zane pretty much covered it. Make sure to like the stream. Make sure to share it. We've been popping off. Thank you so much, Kev, for dropping by. I mean, when it comes to One Piece, like, y'all are always ready to show up. So, like, OPU, we do what we do, man. It's an all thanks to you guys. So we really do appreciate y'all, and stay tuned for next week.
All right, so I think, bro, I just realized, I think, Kev, I think your channel is, I think I've been on your channel, besides Threevil, besides Dak, I think I've been on your channel the most. And you know, the streams that we've been on there were fun, man. Like the mac and cheese stuff, you know, just trolling with the chat and everything.
Basketball,
the basketball
mac
stuff.
and cheese.
It's always a fun time, bro. And it's just like, I don't know, your streams are just chill, bro. So I appreciate you having me on those. I appreciate you coming on, bro. And you know, like I said, bro, a good friend in real life too. You know, a really cool guy, man. So make sure you go check him out. Make sure you guys like this stream. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not already. You guys know where to find me, Marshall D Preach. I'm working on some new videos as well. Like I said, the tree theories. This is gonna be a big video. I'm working on some Robin video, a dragon video, and then I got some more stuff as well. But a lot of stuff coming out this year. I'm excited for everything, man. So appreciate you guys showing love, and we'll see you guys next week. So
make sure to hit that big red button if you want to stay tuned to more Marshall D Preach content.
All right, we'll see you
You
guys.
can
JJ, the stream was less toxic. Wonder why.
You could even test. Wait, I don't know if this works, but if you guys aren't subscribed, you could subscribe. Now, I don't know if it works, but I think it does a rainbow glow if you say.
Oh yeah, no, not just that. If you actually go through and see the like content in videos and stuff, if they say the word subscribe in a video, the rainbow thing pops up, and I think that's so cool.
Yeah, it's like I saw it once, and I was like, "How does that even work?"
Bro, he said
It's actually dope.
This stream was less toxic. I wonder why. Listen, bro, Krow will be back next week, and it will be chaos again. So, I will see you
Just
guys
wait
next
until that. Just wait till that base Sanji, bro. Base